Okay, what the hell is this? This is already messed up. I didn't... What is this? Oh god, it's messed up. Oh no, hang on. Hang on, I can fix this. Hi everyone. Don't worry about it. I just, don't know how things work, but we are here. It's the Tokyo Podfathers podcast. Yes, we're here.
Okay.
Flawless.
Cool.
Anyway, hi.
Hi.
Yeah, none of that.
How are you?
Happen. What the fuck?
What's going on?
I don't know. It wasn't like this a second ago. God damn it. Already, something's gone wrong. I thought this time I had it right. I thought this time, like, I'm going to have it down. It's going to be good. It's going to work. And everyone's going to be so impressed with how great of a streamer I am. But no, already, it's just messed up. It's terrible. I'm so sorry, everyone. I'm so sorry for letting you down like this. But hopefully we can make up for it, or I will make up for it in the future. These guys haven't done anything wrong. If anything, I feel bad that I'm subjecting them to whatever this is. But
I love it.
In any case, we're gathered here today to do what we always do. Every, 3 months, we remember to do a podcast and summon the strength and the courage to talk about anime. So, today we're going to talk about the anime we're watching in winter 2023, which is a lot of anime, and somehow we're only talking about, half of what came out. But, yeah. Alright, now it's properly... This is how it was supposed to look in the very first second. I don't know why OBS decided to cancel all of the work that I did to make this work. But there it is.
It's a feature. Just to keep you on your toes.
Yeah, thanks for adding that. So anyway, it's me and Panic, as it always is. And today, we've got longtime friends with us. First of all is Mines.
Hello. It's me.
Yeah. He has a very charming voice.
Yeah.
You can tell he talks a lot.
I'm just getting over a cold. I've been sick since Christmas. So.
I was gonna say, oh man, that sucks. Yeah, around Christmas I also got sick for 2 weeks. It sucked.
Yeah, I think I am chained illnesses. I had an infection in my ear and then got a sinus infection.
Jesus.
Either way, I'm very tired of having cotton swabs stuck up my nose.
Those are the worst. Yeah. Well, hope you're feeling better, or you will feel better.
I am. I have a big glass of water next to me, so.
Fantastic. Hydration check, everybody. Thanks for looking out for us. And also, another extremely long-time friend. So long time that he's actually one of the co-inventors of the Junie Tyson meme that we've constantly spouted on this podcast. It is...
Really?
No, that is not a joke. It is Dr. Whoops.
It is me, yeah. It's been so long. Where have I been all these years?
Not a doctor for nothing. That's some genius shit.
Well, you are very active with the R Anime Awards, I think.
I am. Well, not anymore as a host or as an organizer, but I've been part of the jury every year since its inception in 2016.
Yeah.
So that's fun.
Yeah, so if any of you guys are upset about the Crunchyroll Awards, which honestly you should be, I was someone who kind of saw them as a fun, casual thing, haha, we have an anime awards, that's cool. But actually seeing it this year, it's okay, if we're going to use this to represent anime, this actually is kind of bullshit, and I think we do deserve better. So if you're upset about all of that, then please check out the R Anime Awards. This is an awards event that's actually run by anime fans who actually watch anime and care about it. It's super thorough, super well thought out. Go to animeawards.moe and just check them out because they're great and they work really hard.
And go vote.
And go vote.
Voting period's still open.
Voting period is open until when?
I think I'd have to check, but I think at least for a couple more days, maybe even more than a week.
At least for a couple more minutes. Hurry up.
Yeah, do it right now. So yeah, I would vote. I would take more part in that, but I unfortunately didn't watch a lot of anime last year. I am going to fix that this year, though. I'm already off to a much better start, so I will do my best to keep up with that. But anyway, thanks for all the work you guys do at the Anime Awards. It really is much appreciated. And you guys deserve more attention and more exposure. So, yeah, like I said, if you're mad about Crunchyroll, please go check these guys out.
I'll relay the compliments to our host team.
Did the Crunchyroll guys say why Chainsaw Man isn't eligible for anything?
They just decided that fall doesn't exist this year.
Yeah.
That's really weird.
It's fucking
Yeah.
stupid.
I think I got halfway through voting and I was like, wait a
Yeah.
minute, something's missing.
Also, the strange part is
not part of 2022.
so they do include unfinished shows. Last year they included unfinished shows from fall. So if someone had something aired in fall and wasn't finished by the end of the year, they'd include it. Now they don't include fall at all. So it's
And this
it's so strange.
They're like, we fixed the problem, guys.
I think in Anime of the Year they had Ranking of Kings second core. Like, no, I want to vote for the whole show, not just the second core.
It's strange. It's kind of bullshit, honestly. So, yeah. But, that's also why we're not really talking about the Anime Awards this year, which we normally make a habit of doing. Oh my god, I just closed my fucking file with all the show titles. No! I didn't save it either! Oh my god, so I'm going to read off the list of shows that we have to talk about. Some of them I already forgot the full titles of, or like what they're actually called. But on screen, it's NieR Automata, Tomo-chan, or like Tomo-chan is also a boy, something like that.
Girl.
So sorry, she's a girl. There's lots of gender confusion this season. I'm sorry, we'll get through this. Otonari, aka the angel next door. Spy Classroom. Koori Zokusei, aka the cool guy, or the ice guy and his cool female colleague, something like that. Kubo-san, or Kubo-san won't let me be invisible. Buddy Daddies. Inukai. Onimai. Tsunlise, which is a show that has like 20 words in the title, so we're just going to move past that. Revenger, Ayakashi Triangle, Sugar Apple Fairy Tale, High Card, Mou Ippon, and then Trigun Season 2, or no, sorry, that's not a Season 2, just Trigun Stampede, Bofuri Season 2, Nagatoro Season 2, Tsurune Season 2, a short anime called Gods of Egypt, Inspector Season 2, Misfit of Demon King Academy Season 2, and Vinland Saga Season 2. And maybe at the end is probably going to be like 3 hours, but whatever. If we have time afterwards, then we'll talk about some stuff that, is not on this list. If anybody is wondering about why X anime isn't on here, the answer is because there's like 40 anime that come out every season. We don't have time to watch all of them. In fact, there are some that I've seen, and I didn't even add to this list, so whatever. So please bear with us. But if you do have anime that aren't on this list that you want to be talked about, then I don't know, comment about them, tell us about them, or join our Discord for stuff like that. So yeah, and also join our Discord because we're gonna do stuff. I'm gonna finally bring back like community events on there. We're gonna go back to doing gang watches, which was a thing I did like a couple years ago for a month, but are finally coming back in February. And also I have this big Dragon Ball project, which is kind of like a group watch, but not really. I'm not even sure how it works, but stuff is happening next month.
I think it's got to be more like keeping up.
Yeah.
Watch at the same time.
Yeah, basically. So yeah, I have this whole plan of watching the entire Dragon Ball franchise, and I want people to join me because I think it would be fun to do that. But yeah. Alright, so let's finally talk about these freaking animes. The first one we have is something that's... I don't know if anybody would have ever really expected this to happen, but it's happening. It's an anime adaptation of a pretty popular game called NieR Automata.
Yes. Who here has played it?
I have
It's
not.
sitting in the Steam library,
I have
collecting dust.
All right. I played it. I did not expect it. Well, I guess. I mean, it's not the most surprising thing that it got an adaptation, but I was just like, it's very thoroughly explored in its own game. And how would they even adapt it with all the shit that's going on in it?
Yeah, because I hear a cool thing about this game is that it has lots of like meta commentary, like things that
A lot.
only work in video games or something like that. But I don't know. I think there was a little bit of a joke where there's like an after credit scene with Yoko Taro, and he says, "My next mission: adapt the multiple endings of NieR Automata into anime."
Yeah. Like a cute thing this show does is that post credits they do like a little doll theater, puppet theater, where they enact some of the more jokey endings of the game. Like you could do a bunch of stuff and get different endings. There's like 5 proper, and then a bunch of jokes, like one for every other letter in the alphabet. Like if you self-destruct in the space station, that's a joke ending.
Damn.
You get like a thing. Oh, you blew up the space station, but it looked neat from Earth. The end.
All right.
And it reloads you. So that's like fun things you can do. But yeah, it has a lot of meta stuff in the game. It relies a lot on you playing it. Like, I think in the very first episode of this, maybe in the second, we see 9S, the white-haired Shota.
The little twink boy.
A little twink. Sitting on a steel beam watching a small robot carrying a bucket. And in the game, that is something you play, like, as that little robot, and you go back and forth, like, several times, and there's a bunch of stuff it trips over. It's really difficult and really tedious. But that's, like, part of the little meta-narrative with that guy and his dead big brother robot, that he thinks, like, getting a bucket of oil and pouring it on him will make him fine again. It's like, it's really sad. But it doesn't have the same impact in the anime, but it's just a nice little, it's like a big, like the whole show is gonna be us pointing like Leonardo. Like, oh, that's the thing! They did the thing.
That's a reference.
That's a reference.
Yeah, Sidris asked if they do the thing where you can uninstall your own processor and die instantly.
And they do that in episode 2, where they talk about the chips they have, and they're like, oh, wait, what are you doing? No, wait, no! And then it just ends.
So you feel like the series is made for people who have already played the game?
I think so. I also think it might be a case of NieR becoming like the new Ava, where it's all like retellings that are slightly different and they're all canon somehow. I think that's what he's trying to do with it, because it's not just called NieR Automata, it's called like 1.1a.
Yeah.
Yep.
So maybe if you say that the game is doing a lot of meta stuff that's related to the game medium, that maybe since this is sort of a shift, that it will tell it in a more maybe it'll do some meta stuff with TV anime or just TV structure in general. That would be cool.
It's a really neat game. It's like major goosebumps when you actually finish it. It's like so much is going on. It's really clever.
I do want to play it someday, which is why I'm not watching this. It's actually,
makes sense.
It's a game I have. It's when I got my PS4 a few years ago. This was like the first game that I got, and I still have not played it.
But I also think there's like room for this to tell the story in a more succinct way, like less obtuse. Because there's a lot of stuff in the game that you kind of have to infer. I feel like this will kind of spell it out a bit more.
This will like give you the story beats without separating them so far with gameplay.
Without having to run 20 minutes between each character you talk to and having to remember shit. Like this will just like tell you what's happening. Looking forward to that. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff I missed. It's like this is a game with themes. A lot of them.
NieR Automata has themes.
It really does. And it also has COVID.
I have COVID too. No, yeah.
The studio just announced that the show is being postponed.
Just today, they announced it, which is sad. I also think it might be, well, not necessarily long, but it might be like more than 12 episodes. So I think they announced
I would hope so.
multiple cores, but like it was a weird thing where I guess it's assumed that it's going to be more than 12 episodes, but it was also announced that it's not continuing into spring.
Yeah, that said though, I feel like they probably could do it in 12, because a lot of the
game's not like that long, is it?
It's not that long, but it's. I mean, I guess like ending A and B, like version A and B, you're playing like one as 2B and then one as 9S. It's like it's the same story, but you're playing it from a different perspective. So that is really only one timeline in a way. And a lot of it is like looking at things and like visual storytelling. I feel like a lot of it can be told just with like quick glimpses at stuff. So maybe they could do it in 12. It's not impossible.
But if they have more episodes, then maybe they'll have more time to, do all those extra endings and stuff. I guess that would be cool. So it like looks good and stuff.
It looks really pretty. Voice acting is, of course, top tier. It's the same people as the game.
That makes sense.
One of the cool things from the game that, like, they, for good reason, can't do in the anime, like, one of the things that makes it so meta, it's like, when you're playing the first route as 2B, she wakes up on the space station and you kind of do her settings. Like, you do the game settings within her, like, HUD or whatever. And then in the 9S one, it remembers what you did. Like, what you click back and forth and what you adjusted. So that it replays that for you, makes you just watch what you did earlier.
Huh.
That's cool.
I was like, they can't do that here because there's no input from the viewer.
Yeah.
But that's like just like one of the neat little unexpected things it does.
Yeah, I find a lot with video game adaptation that in video games it's fine if the protagonist, the character you're controlling, is kind of basic in a way.
Mm-hmm.
But in adaptations, then that leads to a very underdeveloped protagonist. So does that translate well here in this adaptation or not?
But because 2B isn't a character you control the entire game,
right? It's an NPC.
She does get to be her own character. She's not
Right,
just like someone for you to control.
Yeah, okay. So that does make it overcome some of the issues with video game adaptations.
I think it'll work out.
Cool.
Interesting.
Speaking of working out.
Well, do you have anything else to say about it? Whoops.
No. Oh.
I only watched one episode, and I kind of got the sense, as Panic said, that this is something made for people who have played the game, and I haven't. So maybe I'll put this on pause and check out the game.
All right, fair enough. If nothing else, I would love for this to be like kind of like the World Ends With You adaptation, where this kind of acts as like a buffer between now and whenever they have a sequel ready. Because I think it would be cool if there's another game on the way. It's like they got this and they just released or re-released the first NieR, or it was a remake or something. So it seems like they're very eager to they're very insistent on keeping up the interest in this series. So hopefully there's something else on the way.
That'd be nice.
Would be.
Yeah, I have a lot of friends that are like really into the games, so I'm glad that they don't seem to be butchering it so far. So
maybe I should.
I had friends that were into the first one, like all the way back when it first came out, because it was not actually a successful or popular game, but it did have a really, really small niche fan base that were like, yeah, this game was actually really great. Y'all just slept on it. So when this came out, they were like, finally you guys are going to see how great NieR really is. And they were right. Good for them.
It has all these weird... Because the guy who makes it, Yoko Taro, he's like an auteur. He has a vision. One of those guys. And he makes it happen, whatever he wants. That's why the games are special. Yeah, a lot of respect for that.
So that's cool. All right, so I guess we're done with that. Now we're going to get on to anime that don't have video games, as far as I'm concerned, at the very least. Next we have Tomo-chan is a... What gender is this character?
It's actually...
Girl.
Okay.
Yeah, actually a girl.
It's actually a girl. The whole crisis or like conflict is because like she's bros. She has a best bro named June, and they're just like best friends. And because she's a big tall tomboy and they've always done like sports and worked out together, he doesn't see her as a girl. So like her mission is to get him to acknowledge that she's a girl.
Oh.
Because she's in love with him.
Yeah.
And the show starts with her confessing to him and him being like, yeah, man, I love you too, bro. So that's like the whole thing.
So how many episodes are out of this?
3.
3?
As of this week.
How many have you seen?
All of them.
Yeah, I've seen all 3 of them.
Okay.
Also read the whole story. It was kind of an r/manga darling, because it would release a page a day.
What?
Every page was called a chapter, so it's like 800 and something chapters. It would release a page per day. So it's like the daily ritual, go to our manga, read your page of Tomo-chan.
Is it like Tower of God where the pages are really, really long vertically?
Nope.
Oh, it's literally just one page. Okay.
Literally just a manga page.
Would it just end in the middle of a conversation, like in the middle of a sentence, and then you have
kind
to
of,
wait and pay?
kind of like every page has its own little comedy cliffhanger
Okay.
thing going on, which I'm always astounded.
This
like,
sounds
how
like
do
a
you- how do you
terrible
keep
format, if
doing
I'm
Is
going
it
to be
like-
honest.
No, it works. It worked out. I loved it.
All right.
So is it like
Yeah.
4-esque if it's page by page, or
Kinda. Well, it's not laid out like a 4-coma.
right?
It's laid out just like a standard manga page, but it
But
has like
structurally.
the rhythm, I guess, the cadence of a 4-coma.
Right. That's interesting.
What were you saying earlier, Minus, before we completely cut you
Oh
off?
no, I was gonna say that I actually like the show has in the 3 episodes that are out, it's grown on me already because I outright despised it after the first episode.
Really? Why?
Yeah, because it was just like kind of awkward with June was like when he would like slap her ass and like put his arm around her, and she was like visibly like taken aback, and I don't know if she was uncomfortable, but just like yeah, it was a
That's
little
weird.
awkward to sit through. And then like when the purple haired girl's like egging him on, he just pushes her out into the rain.
Fuck yeah,
Yeah.
Misuzu.
Yeah,
She's
I was
great.
like, he kind of just like treats everyone around him like shit. But then
He's very childish.
yeah, and then like the second episode, he kind of I don't know, he just didn't really do it as much. And then the third episode, we learned that him and the purple hair girl like dated for a spell back in middle school, and that's why they have this
For
like
3 days.
yeah, they have this like constant
40-kilometer bike ride on their first date.
Yeah, I don't really blame her for wanting to be out of that relationship, but
Yeah, and then he broke up with
and
her.
then he broke up with
and
her
it's-
like as she was on the way to break up with him. He broke up with her.
It's kind of funny.
I fucking love them. I love Misuzu. She's my
But-
favorite.
Yeah, she's definitely my favorite as well. But the third episode was like actually like got some good laughs out of me.
Yeah.
So-
Another fan, like, we're just gonna keep bringing up our manga because like their icon for the entire thing is this character called Carol, the cotton candy fluff chaos agent. I think, I don't know, Moss, in your pre-impressions, you did not like her design.
Oh, let me look this up.
She's the foreigner with the big fluffy
Yeah.
hair, and
Well, I have to find this.
who is voiced by
Sorry,
Sally
sorry.
Amaki in both versions.
Yeah, I did actually go back and compare like the sub and the dub just to hear it.
Which is a funny concept that I don't understand more shows aren't doing. Like when you have someone like Sally who speaks fluent both, why not?
Speaks fluent both. All right, image uploading in a second.
She's
Give me-
just like
okay.
this out of touch, rich foreigner girl who has no friends because everybody is scared of her. Like all the boys are in love with her, all the girls hate her because she's so pretty. So now
She
she's
is a bit chaotic.
best friends with Misuzu and Tomo, and she just says things.
She's a bit of a wild card.
I
like,
have
she'll
no
just-
strong feelings about this character design.
Okay. I'm gonna go find receipts.
All right, you do that.
You did not like him. No, she's
So-
cute, but yeah, she's like the mascot for r/manga.
So this struck me reading the synopsis and watching like 10 minutes of the first episode because I have no attention span apparently. But that it struck me as the type of show where the premise is funny and like the first episode has like the joke, like you said, like I love you too, bro. But then it feels like a joke that doesn't really carry for an entire core, which
No.
happens a lot with these shows. Do you feel like
Yeah, because he is like more and more made aware. Like already,
Right.
he's like blushing and avoiding her
Yeah.
because she's doing,
okay?
like she's making moves, wearing girly clothes, and he's like, oh, I can't even look.
Okay, cool. So it's not staying at this like
No.
point where he's completely okay.
It's just like the joke to kick it all off.
Right.
And
Oh,
now
Is that-
Tomo, armed with the help of Misuzu and Carol, are like becoming more girly
Yeah, they're helping her. At least in
and
the first
constantly
episode.
making a fool of herself in the
Yeah,
process.
she like went on a date.
because she is a big muscle brain at heart.
when they went to like the karaoke place in the third episode,
Yep.
and she can only sing kids songs.
Yep.
I was like actually like crying laughing at that part.
She didn't know what to do. So.
She didn't.
And it's
know.
of course it's Rie Takahashi, fucking top tier voice actor.
If you didn't tell me that it was her, though, I would not have known.
No.
Like, if I didn't know that it was Ryutaka going into it, I would have thought it was someone completely
I feel
different.
like there's a couple of shouty scenes where you could have picked up on it. Also, she's like the only voice actress who will shout.
That's fair.
That's good to know.
Overall.
My qualms with this were the exact same as Whoops, where I didn't start watching it because I thought it would get old after one episode. So I just kind of waited. I wanted to wait and see what other people were saying about it.
It's all about
later.
her schemes of trying to get June to notice her girly side and how it backfires. Usually. Until it doesn't. Ooh.
Ooh.
Holy
Spoilers.
shit. Spoilers.
You had to check out like a year of daily chapters to find that
Yeah,
out.
I wonder what the pace of it is, like, in terms of pages. Because usually it's like, oh, this episode of My Hero did, like, 2 chapters. This is like, oh, it did 41 chapters, because every chapter is a page.
Just going for the record of most
did it
chapters
do?
per episode.
Yeah. I think this is very enjoyable.
Yeah, I am enjoying it. Once you get past the first episode, I think it becomes a lot more.
Maybe I'll give it another shot if I can find the time.
Yeah, same. I would like to add this to my list, except I already have like 15 shows on my list. So I'll get back to you on that in a year, maybe longer than that. Same with this next one that I wasn't all that enthusiastic about, just looking at it, so I didn't really try watching it. But it is called, let me get up the title, Otonari something. Okay. The
Angel
title
Next
is
Door.
Yeah, The Angel Next Door Spoils Me Rotten. This is one of the many anime this season that has like 30 words in the title of it. I don't know what's going on with everyone. I guess every light novel, they all saw what's going on with isekai, so they're like, okay, let's just have every novel be long as
Now
shit
it's a
for no reason.
contest. Who can have more words?
Yeah, The Angel Next Door Spoils Me Rotten. That's what this is. Who's the one who was watching this?
I am not watching it. I'm not caught up to it because I think the 3rd episode airs today. So I haven't watched it yet, but is anyone else watching it?
No,
I am not.
No, you are?
no,
No,
you're
no.
alone on
Okay.
this.
Well, there's a lot of fantasy this season. There's a lot of romance as well, specifically rom-coms. And this one, it's the project number 9 entry into the season, so already going in my like
big yikes.
my expectations were on the floor basically. But honestly, it's pretty cute. It's a lot more low key than a lot of the other shows on this list. Like the whole premise of it is like the main guy lives by himself, and his room is pretty much just like a massive dump. And he lives next to the angel of the school, and she's like the super popular one, and she like comes over and like cleans up his apartment, and she starts cooking for him since he for some reason can't live on his own. But they kind of develop a relationship through that, and it's honestly really cute. It's just kind of chill, and she just cooks and they talk. The dialogue in this is like surprisingly, I don't know how to describe it. It's really like natural feeling. Like it feels just like you're listening to like a normal Japanese conversation, I guess.
Yeah.
And then they go to school and like have friends.
Like it's not.
And like his best friend is in a relationship, like is like already in a relationship with her friend. I don't know what they're gonna do with that yet, but so far it's okay.
This struck me as like the halfway point between Senko-san and what's it called? Like, I took a high school girl home. Just based on the premise, that's the vibes I got, where it's like it's Senko-san, but instead of Senko, it's a high school girl. And I was like, I don't know if I need this in my life.
Yeah, honestly,
Yeah,
this kind of sounded like an anime that people on Twitter would say is for people who get no bitches and stack no paper.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't say
It's
that.
like,
It's kind
it's
of
like
just like
everyday normal guy meets perfect girl and she takes care of him and improves his life. And
I have
stuff
been
like that.
considering rewatching Senko-san. Speaking of, I feel
I
like I
mean,
need that. That's so
Like,
nice.
in like the sea of like romance, though, it kind of just is a blur for me, though. Like, it's not like the high point of the season in terms of romance.
mm.
Hmm.
It gives the idea of the type of show where if it's done well, it's pretty nice, but it's really hard to do well because oftentimes it just feels forced and like Moss said, like the very
It's
like overly perfect protective girl situation.
wish fulfilling.
Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for.
Which honestly, I don't have a problem with that kind of stuff. I mean, I'm not really interested in it. Like I'm 27. I'm not interested in watching high school boys have their wishes fulfilled. I'm way too old for that at this point. But I think it's nice to have the kind of comfy show that just appeals to certain people all too well.
Yeah, it is nice to watch like one episode a week and then like be done with it for until next week.
Yeah.
Like it's not hard to watch. It's just kind of, I don't know. I feel like if I wasn't watching it weekly, I probably wouldn't watch it. If that makes any sense.
Panic just posted a banger comment in chat, but didn't say it out loud, and I'm surprised that he had that restraint.
It's always sunny in wishful Philadelphia.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess it seems all right.
It's okay.
It's okay. That's good to hear. But listen, guys, we have to talk about a very, very important anime. This anime is about wonderful. It's just wonderful, okay? It's about a guy who may kind of look like me. Maybe if I worked real hard to cosplay him, I could pull off a convincing appearance for him. And he's going to train 7 women to be the most important, the most valuable, the most coveted members of our society. They will be the ones who carry all of society, all of humanity, on their incredibly stiff, overworked backs and shoulders as they train to become the big titty goth GF. And of course, I am talking about the anime Spy Classroom. Also known as Spy Room for some reason. I don't know why they have to distinguish that.
Right. I have an idea for a new anime. So there's the spy, right? Except he's got huge tits.
I've
And
got
they
to
all
say,
do. All
Spy
of them.
Classroom sounds a lot better than Spy Room. Spy Room sounds like something you use to perv on people or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say that sounds like just like a surveillance room office.
That sounds like a great premise for this anime, because it does feel like that's what we're doing.
I watched one.
Angels.
I watched one episode of this earlier today just because it was on the list. And I really questioned why it was on the list, but now I know it's because of the big boob goth girlfriend.
It's because this is my favorite show this season. And I see so many people who are like really mad at this anime. They're like, it's fucking boring. The plot makes no sense. Nothing happens in it. None of the characters have any chemistry with each other. And also, Maz, you can't just post a picture of the main character. That's not an argument. I don't care. I enjoy it.
Is she your favorite, Lily?
Is she my favorite?
No, wait, you like the eye patch
What?
girl, right?
I do like the eye patch girl, although you don't see her, like, ever. You only ever really see Lily in this show so far.
Yeah.
I've got to say one thing I liked about the first episode, which is because her code name is Flower Garden, and she essentially did the Morbius meme where she says something like, not literally "I'm gonna flower garden" or something like that, but
Bloom
it's
out
like,
of control.
I'm gonna bloom out of control.
She's gonna
It's like-
morph!
Stand back. I'm about to
It's like-
bloom.
I'm Flower Garden and I'm about to bloom out of control. It's like, wow, it's literally just the fucking Morbin meme.
I can't believe they made Morbius into an anime. And Moss loves it.
Anime of the season! What else can I say?
Head back, Fubuki. I'm about to bloom.
It's flowering time.
It's flowering.
She flowered all over.
Do you think if she lost her poison powers, she would be deflowered?
Yes.
These are the thoughts that I have when watching this anime.
She is pretty cute, I guess.
She is very cute.
Yeah, I don't know. The first episode was kind of confusing to me. There was so much going on in like the first. It introduces the entire concept of the show in like 5 minutes, and there's just so many characters being thrown on screen. And then
the third episode kind of pulled a Ryan Johnson twist, where it's like, there was a mystery that you didn't even know about, but don't worry, we've already solved it, and here's the answer.
Actually, well, I want to talk about that a little bit later. Actually, fuck it, we'll talk about it right now. So this anime, it does have a twist in the third episode, and it's that there's an 8th member. There's a secret 8th member of the group. And you say, like, it wasn't, you're not supposed to know about it. However, that's actually not true. You can see this 8th member very, very subtly in the background of some shots. She actually is there, and because of that, I think
she's
that this
doing a terrible job.
But
no, she's not supposed to be made known or anything.
Is it just that the rest of the supporting cast is also so inconsequential and memorable that you don't forget that you're forgetting one?
You could say that, sure.
No, I was more so thinking about the fact that they're being spied on. It's like, we didn't know that, but they did. Don't worry, well, they did, and they already solved it.
We knew they were being spied on. There was you literally saw a clip of people listening in on their conversations.
I thought that was the guy, the whatever his name is.
No, that
What's
was
his name?
The other team. Which guy? What is anyone
the
talking
long-haired
about?
guy, the good guy,
Moss
guy.
Yeah, me.
What's his name?
I don't know what his name is actually. Yeah,
Butterfly, lampshade.
Just Sensei.
No, Lamplight is the name of the team. But whatever. The guy. No, I don't think he was the one listening on them. I think they did establish they were being spied on or whatever.
All right.
And that's why they had to hide an 8th member.
And that they have powers.
Yeah, and also they have Morbius powers.
Yes. And they all morphed. They don't all have catchphrases yet, but I'm sure that's coming.
I will say, like, I'm gonna huff a little bit of copium right here, just, and say that maybe this anime feels like so rushed and so not very thought out because they wanted to get through that first arc and reveal the 8th member, because this was one novel they adapted in the first 3 episodes.
All right.
So
makes sense,
maybe now that they're out of that, they'll maybe slow down the pacing and we'll actually see the other characters a little more.
I do wonder, like, how, like, what their powers are. Or, like, are they magic? Because they do establish in the first episode that this guy, Pepe Silvia, whatever his name is, can throw 7 padlocks in the air and in a white flash unlock them all before they even start falling.
Well, that's not his particular power. He's just good at stuff.
Which is not the same as being good at picking locks. That is magic. He is casting a spell.
I mean, I also don't know what was going on with the protagonist girl, the fucking Mormon girl in the
She's
first
immune
episode.
to poison.
Just like she grew up in a village that got gassed, and that's why she's immune to poison. It was implying something along those lines.
No, I think she was immune to poison always. It's
right.
She being gassed. It's like, oh, there's a survivor. How the fuck does that work?
That makes so much more sense. I don't know why I thought being gassed made her immune to poison.
Although that would be the comic book reason. Like,
it would be.
I am electric because I was exposed to electric eels. I was hit by lightning, and now I do have lightning powers.
And Infamous too.
He got hit by Infamous, and now he is infamous.
There we go.
Yeah.
Also the guy, I love the guy so much because he just doesn't explain shit to everyone. He's just able to do stuff.
It's pretty dumbass.
That's what I was going to talk about, because I think that was my favorite ongoing gag of at least the first episode, where he with the lock picking, he was just like, "Here's how to pick the lock. You just do it."
What do you mean? You just do it.
And then the same when he grabbed the dude's wallet, and he was like, "Here it is," and then the girl was like, "How did you do that?" And he was like, "I just grabbed it." Like it's not that hard.
I just did
I
it.
think that was like my favorite ongoing thing. And
Yeah,
then
skill issue.
I got whiplash in the next two episodes.
He's a fucking Dark Souls speedrunner in real life. He's just like, just be good at the video game, guys.
He's like, just do it. Just do it. It's not that hard. Come on now.
I mean, that is a funny part about the premise. It's that like all the girls are established to just be kind of shitty at their spy jobs, and then their instructor is like the most impressive guy ever, but he has like no sense of how to communicate this information. He's just like, I don't know, I just fucking do it. You figure it out.
I love him. Yeah,
And he's voiced by Goblin Slayer.
of course.
is,
Of course, that makes a lot of sense. I don't even know why.
He's really good at being like short.
Wow.
Like being short with people, just like not explaining anything.
Yep.
Not being actually short.
It's good at being short.
He's good at being short.
But yeah, this anime is good. Anyone who says it's bad is lying or watching it wrong. There are zero issues with it whatsoever. Fuck Smurf. He's wrong about this anime.
I won't say it's bad, but like I said, I did feel like after watching one episode, I questioned why it was on the list.
Did you watch it while at least partially drunk?
I did not. I watched it while playing Pokemon.
Okay, that explains it, because I watched this show while drunk.
Okay, I'll have to try that then.
Yeah, makes everything a lot better. Alright, next anime is something called Koori Zokusei, aka, what is it? The ice guy and his cool female colleague, I think it is. Yeah, I actually got that completely right. Wow.
Wow.
I'm learning things. Am I the only one who's seen this?
I'm watching this.
Oh,
Of course.
I have.
watching it.
I have not watched this.
I'm excited to
Oh,
hear
have you
about
seen this?
this
Whoops.
because it looks cool.
I know. I have.
Haha, good one, Panic.
I should
Hey.
I should articulate better. But yeah, I know. I have not watched this.
Oh, okay. Well, what do you think about it, Mines?
Well, I love this show, honestly. I think it's really adorable. I may also be getting pandered to a lot here because the guy who's possessed by or descending from the ice woman deity, whatever being he comes from,
Yokai.
the yokai, that's it. The ice yokai is really hot. And it's adorable when he gets like flustered and he like starts to like freeze up or like cause a snowstorm or like snowmen start popping out for him. That's adorable. And he's just like a golden retriever boyfriend that is really funny to watch, and I love him. And then his cool female colleague she's interesting, I guess. She has a collection of her cat's whiskers that she gives him in the first episode.
Oh yeah, she has a cat.
Which is that something that we do now?
No. Well, the thing is, he can't pet a cat, as he said, so she just does whatever she can to give him the feeling
That's
of
cute.
a cat.
That's kind of cute.
It is cute,
She should skin her cat.
Wow.
But,
that got dark.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Don't worry about that. If it were for you, I would make that kind of joke.
Okay, good. Good to hear we are on the same page.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of cute moments between the two, even if the dialogue can be kind of clunky at times.
Mm-hmm.
Like especially in like the second episode, he like is starting to melt and he like gets younger and stuff.
What?
Yeah, did you wait? How far into it are you?
I've only seen the first episode. I'm sorry.
Oh. In the second episode, he you know how the first episode ends with him being scared of going on the business trip. It turns out that he's scared because like the second place is really hot year round, and when he like is out in the sun for too long, he starts to melt. And by like melting, he like has like the Benjamin Button where he starts to get like he becomes like a little like Shota boy. Yeah.
Goodness.
Yeah. So he's like in
perks up. I didn't know this was a good show.
He's like in the shade, like trying to get cool again. And his cool female colleague runs like a 5K to get him some ice cream or something.
Damn.
And then it's revealed in the third episode after they have their little date that she has like a picture of him in that form as like her phone background,
Aw.
which yeah,
So-
it's just like
so-
it just makes me happy and also depressed because I'll never have like a cool ice guy colleague to give presents to.
TFW, no ice BF.
Yeah.
So do
Yeah.
they start dating early in the show, or is it
Not
like
yet. So it's actually kind of funny because they like he invites her out on a date as just like a to thank her for all that she's done for him, and then like the next day he overhears colleagues talking. They're like they've been on a date, but they haven't even like exchanged phone numbers or done
Right.
this or that. And so like he literally just like does all that in a row, and then I would be surprised if they didn't start like actually dating here in the next couple episodes.
They definitely have mutual feelings for each other, but it seems like they're both so awkward that they don't really know how to
Yeah.
get to the next stage.
Mm.
Yeah, it is.
Because the
But
girl,
I would be surprised.
the girl in particular is just really quiet, usually just like really, really blank. I kind of got my impression of this is that this anime has very, very big webcomic energy. I really thought it was a cross between Horimiya and Wotakoi. And I thought specifically this anime was like written by a woman and just kind of had this sort of blank self-insert character so that you could really appreciate the guy a lot more.
Yeah.
Mm.
Although there
That's
is
a shame.
like one of their coworkers is like a fox yokai girl. She's pretty hot too.
Yeah, there's a
Senko?
what?
Senko-san is there?
Yeah, Sanko-san is in this anime. You should watch it. So it seems like there's going to be a second pairing in this anime where there's a because the main pairing is there's the ice guy and then the regular girl, but then the other pairing is going to have like the yokai woman and then a regular guy, which is kind of why I got Wotakoi vibes with it.
Yeah, it is very Wotakoi-esque.
And it's a workplace comedy of sorts, I guess.
Yeah, I'll always take more of those. Those feel like a dime a dozen. Not a dime a dozen. They feel very rare
Yeah,
these days. So
we love a good workplace anime.
Yeah, sure.
This is one of my favorites from this season, though, just because the main two together are adorable, awkward little dorks.
That's cool. Literally.
Yeah.
I'm not quite
Hey.
as enthusiastic about it, but I will probably sit through it anyway because there's nothing really like bad about it. It doesn't really hit me, but I appreciate it, I guess.
That's the spirit.
Yeah. I'm
I don't really
so
like it, but,
enthusiastic.
whatever.
I'm such a great podcast host. Just listening to someone gush about this anime, I'm like, yeah, it's
It's
okay, I
okay.
guess.
It's okay, I guess.
It's okay. I know. Well, every time I watch this, I'm like, this is like meant for me. I feel like a little bit too attacked by this sometimes.
Sinru says he can't do seasonals, and then we take the chance to talk about Senko 2 times in 3 shows. Yeah, that's what happens when Sinru leaves and gets a life and is too busy to do a podcast. We talk about the stuff they dislike. All right, but I'll say this. Here's an anime that I actually am quite enthusiastic about. This is Kubo-san, aka Kubo-san Won't Let Me Be Invisible. And it's a little unusual that I would be enthusiastic about this anime because this is kind of a teasing sort of rom-com. Kind of think of like Takagi-san or maybe like Uzaki-chan or Nagatoro. I say that without having watched those anime. So yeah, it's about a guy who's just kind of like not even like a regular everyday guy. He's actually someone who has such a lack of presence in the world around him that literally like nobody can actually perceive him. Like even when he is present in the room, people like can't actually tell when he's there somehow. I don't know. It's exaggerated, but it's anime and it's fine. So there's the popular girl of the school, or of the class, as there always is, who actually does take notice of him, and for whatever reason starts to really take an interest with him. So she talks with him, and maybe lightly messes with him, or at least he thinks that she's messing with him because he doesn't understand why she is, talking to him when no one else does that. And Yeah, and it's kind of a cute little rom-com. And like I said, it's very, very rare. Like, usually I hate these kinds of anime. I got old of Takagi-san very fast. I dropped Nagatoro and Uzaki-chan after an episode. So why do I like this one so much? Well, this anime has the perfect solution to these anime, to this genre. And that is Hanakana. That is my answer. Hanakana voices the girl. And that is the best thing ever. And listen. Hanakana is like the most famous voice actress in all of anime, but she has not been in a lot of stuff for the last few years for whatever reason. I don't know. Maybe she's moved on. Maybe she's doing other stuff. I hope she's doing well. But in any case, it's been like, I think the last anime I heard her in was Sing Yesterday for me. That was 3 years ago. And now here she is as a main role again, finally. And I just get to listen to her relaxing, soothing, beautiful voice. And that warms my heart. And that's why I like this anime so much.
Pretty much.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Here you can go. You're good.
Yeah, I watched one episode of this earlier today again because it was on the list, and I just figured I'll try to check it out. And initially, I didn't pick it up for similar reasons that you said, that like Takagi and Nagatoro and a lot of these other teasing anime just get old so fast.
Mm-hmm.
But I quite liked this, at least for the first episode, because it felt like the teasing wasn't just to be to have like this sort of this cutesy side to it, like, oh, teasing is so hot or cute or whatever people think of it, but it did felt like she was trying to help him in a way by teasing him.
Yeah,
like she's trying to get him to maybe stand out more or do some things and not just hide himself away, which I think is pretty cute. And it also I feel like establishes pretty early that she has a crush on him.
Yeah, definitely.
So which also makes it feel a bit more like genuinely flirtatious instead of just like this self-insert type of flirtatious.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was pretty cute, and Hanakana is definitely a big plus as well.
And also flirtatious in a much more direct way. Like, she's not like like again, he thinks that she's messing with him, but really she seems to be legitimately like trying to help him and stuff like that. He's just a character who's just so awkward and has no idea what to do in these situations that he doesn't understand it. Probably.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for Takagi, it feels like Takagi is sort of making the protagonist, or trying to make the protagonist look like an idiot a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Which doesn't necessarily feel the case here. Like, a lot of the teasing is either because she's trying to get him to do something to make him stand out, or because she's just trying to like sneak in a little touch or like a shoulder bump just to get sort of close to him and feel nice.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good.
Yeah, it seems like it's going to build a genuine, wholesome relationship, and I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I think it looks weird. That's why I haven't picked it up. Like, I usually like these teasing shows. This one has a strange style to it that I can't get into.
It is by Pine Jam, who are known to make kind of weird-looking anime. Like, they did Do It Yourself last season.
That slapped. Like, that was great.
Yeah, like every anime they put out, I don't know if this studio has a consistent style, but then it's like you look at their catalog and it's Do It Yourself, Kageki Shoujo, and Gleipnir most recently, and all of them have like really, really distinct styles, but not really similar to each other. And I guess this one does as well.
Fucking Gleipnir.
That's a random assortment of shows. Yeah, this one's cute. It's pretty cute. I am a little bit like hesitant because I don't know how much longer this like he's so invisible gag will feel like funny.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm hoping that's like my one big concern with it is hopefully like that doesn't get too old, because that was like in like the shows with of a similar vein that like with like recent like Shikimori is kind of what
that's another one.
Like where like the dude's like bad luck got like really, really old really fast. I hope that doesn't happen here.
Yeah, this does have a formula that could get old quickly, and you know it's I feel a little sorry that I only watched one episode, so I can't really confirm that. But yeah, hopefully it will be able to build upon itself. And
there is a really funny bit in the second episode where the like main guy's favorite manga has a new volume on sale. and he's so invisible that the automatic door doesn't sense him. So he has to wait for someone else to go in so that he can enter the store.
Oh yeah, it is funny how like weird and awkward he is, because I think that also something similar happens in the first episode, where like he was looking forward to something coming out, and then like he tried to go, but then was like so nervous that he just went home.
Yeah, he was just like,
I
The
think
first episode is also the gag in a convenience store where he's trying to buy some food, and then the clerk is just like, "Well, someone left some stuff here, but no one's here to pay for it. Probably some prank." And he's like, "No, I'm here," and he just appears sort of out of invisibility, just shows up. It's the visual gags are pretty funny, but it does make you feel like, how is this guy so invisible and so?
I feel bad for the dude, honestly.
Yeah.
It is quite sad in a way.
The only thing I saw was the class picture where they edited him in afterwards, even though he was actually in the picture.
Yeah.
Everybody thought he was missing.
It's very funny, but like, yeah, it is one of those things where it's like, how many more jokes can you make with this before it starts getting old? But yeah, I do like the protagonist. I also like how he's kind of sanguine about it, and just like, yeah, okay, this is the life I'm living, and I guess at least I've got my manga, and I'll just sit in my room, and I'm fine on my own. And then her just sort of bursting through this and trying to initiate contact with him, which is cute.
I think we've established why this anime might be better than its contemporaries, though, because both characters actually have something interesting about them. Well, maybe not even the girl, but given that she's like the dream girl, it's nice that the main character himself has an actual personality to grasp onto.
Yeah.
So maybe it is a lot more deeper than, these other anime that get old really quickly. So yeah,
It's definitely.
I agree.
This is
one of the better ones this season, in my opinion.
Yeah, this is one of my favorites this season. So I'm looking forward to the rest of it.
If anything, watch for Hanakana, because it's unfair that the main girl is voiced by her.
Yeah. It's like, how do they get her of all people? But I don't know, I'm not complaining.
I should say, I don't know if any of you have seen Tsurune Children.
Yes.
But I cannot tell you anything about it.
So there's a pair in that show that's also like a Hanakana girl teasing a very meek guy, and this show feels kind of like that, just realized as a full series.
That was fucking based. That relationship was so good.
Yeah, it was. That was better than this in my feeling.
With the little sister too.
That show had some fucking great pairings. And it also deals with the issue of like repetitiveness, because there's so many different pairings that they can just highlight different ones each episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, this sort of feels like that Hana kind of pairing in that show. If people need a sense of what the show is.
Yeah, watch Tsurune Children. It's great.
I remember liking it, but I cannot tell you anything about it.
Yes, I am.
Except for one time when one of the pair tried to have sex and then their mom walked in on them.
Interrupting.
Right. Yeah.
That was funny. But yeah, I guess watch Tsurune Children. It's the prequel to Kubo-san.
Yeah.
All right,
That's Kubo-san's a spin-off.
Let's move on to the next one, which is an original anime by another pretty good studio. Well, questionably by. I don't know. I think people like them. I usually don't, or at least I don't like the anime they put out. But maybe this one will be a little bit better. It's called Buddy Daddies.
Banger of a show. Once again, I'm probably being pandered to again. Because this one is probably my favorite new show of this season, just because it has like so much like heart, and it's just fun.
Yeah.
It's really dumb, but it's fun.
It is.
And like, I guess like the glaring comparison is to like Spy Family. But
yeah, this anime seems to have been made to compete with Spy
Family. Like, PA Works figured they could do Spy Family while the hype is still there. But honestly, I don't know. I don't really think that they're too similar.
Yeah, no. In concept, they're mildly comparable, but in terms of how it actually plays out, I feel like they're pretty different shows.
Yeah.
Well, based on the first episode, at least, this anime is about these two guys who, I guess, are like, I don't know, maybe not necessarily hitmen, but they just kind of like go out
roommates.
And the what?
They were roommates.
They are roommates, and together
Oh
they
my
like work
God.
to.
Oh my god.
Together they work in like the world of crime to, I don't know, do stuff. Like early on, my favorite part about the first episode was the first couple minutes of it, where they're like in this car chase. I don't know, tracking down this guy. He's got something that they need to obtain. So they get him. They corner him in like this warehouse, and they're trying to interrogate him. And then one of them gets a phone call, and it's like from their 5-year-old daughter or something like that. It's like, "Daddy, when are you gonna be home? I'm hungry." And then they just start getting mad at each other, like, you motherfucker, you were supposed to make sure she would be taken care of when we were gone." And he's like, "Oh, it's not my fault." Like they just start bickering with each other like a married couple. And I guess that's what this anime is. It's like these two guys who work in like this very, very dangerous profession, but then also at home they've got like this young adoptive daughter to take care of. So yeah, in that sense, it's kind of like Spy Family, but approached much differently.
Yeah.
I watched the first 2 episodes of this. I haven't gotten around to the third yet, and I do like the dynamic between the main two a lot, where they're sort of one of them's like really responsible and a father-like, but also kind of a playboy, and the other one's just kind of a loner video game dude. But they have these really really important hitman jobs. So I kind of like that they're like living the bachelor lifestyle while also just being special agents. So I like them, but I don't like the kid that much, which is kind of a big downside for me, which prevents me from enjoying it more.
Really? Because I think the kid is like about as realistic as a 4-year-old is going to get in terms of like shit-eating annoyingness.
Yeah, I've seen other people say that, but I just don't feel that. I mean, in the first episode, I quite liked her because she was just. I feel like her perpetual excitement and loudness makes sense because there was cake and shit, and she was meeting her father.
Look at her.
So I was like, oh, she's very excited. That's cute. And then episode 2 is like, oh no, she's just like that all the time.
Yeah,
and I'm like, well, that's a bit much for me. I think I'd like it better if she had a bit more to her than just the only thing she does in the second episode, and for the most part of the first episode, is just run around, scream, and want to play hide and seek.
Permanent Sumis.
Yeah, when they're on the mission in the second episode and she's like running around, that did take me out of it a little bit because like a kid was gonna notice that they're in like immediate danger when people are pointing guns at them and stuff, and not running around and screaming. But I think in the third episode they definitely like reeled it back and were able to deliver some pretty heartwarming character development with the loner dad, which I was ready to cry.
I also do like the framing in the first episode about these two, where the blonde dude, he already has sort of a family that he had to abandon for his work, which would sort of puts him in this father-like position, and it makes sense why he then feels protective over this little girl that they adopt. And the other guy, he like brings in cats from the street, and also sort of has this warm side to him secretly, even if on the outside it doesn't really come through. So I do like that they establish these caring sides, and that these characters have sort of a need for some sort of bonding or fatherhood or something in that sense. So I do like that framing. I'm also interested to see how it goes back to the family that the blonde guy had before he had to abandon that first job.
The newest episode, they definitely alluded to like the more quiet of the two mains having like some really severe like daddy issues from when he was little, and they actually have like a confrontation with the little girl's biological mother, and she's kind of a piece of work, so it kind of makes sense that the girl is.
Am I wrong, or are they taking care of the girl because the dad died or something?
They killed him.
Yeah,
they killed him, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Which is kind of has a really dark undertone to the whole situation.
It's just like Thor 4, Love and Thunder.
Wow.
Someone in the back agreed.
But overall, it's just like a really over-the-top, stupidly fun show. I'm having a ton of fun watching it each week.
Yeah, I do think having that and then having the slightly more serious side is a nice combination that I think gives the show some longevity, where it can actually go places over the series of a core. So I'm interested to see where it goes with that.
All right, that's pretty cool. I have nothing to add to this conversation. I mean, I could complain if you wanted me to, but that would be mean. It show's all right though. I don't really have much of an issue with it. I only watched one episode of it, so I guess I didn't get too much out of it. But I will watch more of it. You know, I'm just watching more. I'm watching so many anime, like so many great anime, like Spy Classroom. I'm sorry, I don't have time for all these, but
all this time you spent rewatching Spy Classroom.
Yeah, over and over and over again. Can't get enough of it. All right, now here's an anime that I haven't seen. I don't plan on watching, but it might appeal to some people out there. Panic. What the fuck is an Inukai?
Moss, have you ever wanted to be a dog?
No. I can't say that. What the fuck is this GIF that you fucking made me? What is this?
It is a girl bathing her dog.
What?
She's eating her dog.
I had Panic make a few of these GIFs, and I did not look at them in advance, so I'm completely...
Oh no. Yeah, it's about a girl called Inukai. Well, now, back up. It's about a guy who wakes up and is a dog. A high school boy has been turned into a small, adorable dog, and is then picked up by this girl, Karen Inukai.
That is... Oh my fucking god. Finally, an anime about white women.
Right? And taken home and, you know, bathed. I have read the manga for this.
Of course.
It actually has, like, really good art. It's all drawn from, like, a POV of the dog. It's super impressive, really. It's like all these strange low angles. It's like, it's not easy to do that. And then, like, making a time manga out of that. Like, it's really funny, too. But yeah, it is unironically a girl who is in love with her dog.
Okay.
But the dog is actually, like, her classmate.
Give me a second, I'll be right back.
And her other classmates, and, like, complications arise. Because he's gonna try and become a human again. Because he has a crush on Inukai as her class. He's, like, kind of the invisible classmate, in a way. Like, the non-popular boy. And now he's just suddenly woken up and he's a dog. So he gets to live with his crush. Isn't that great?
That's what a dream.
What a dream.
What a perfect life.
Yeah.
So they get to go on walks. He has to piss in front of her.
Oh.
Yeah. It goes weird places.
No kidding. Oh,
no kidding.
Wow.
No, but like,
she
more than that.
She has to pick up his poop. Hey, you! Pick up that poop!
Pick up the poop. Nah, it goes like crazy places later.
I mean, I'm looking at the screen and seeing her trying to eat her dog's nose, and I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Approved this?
I'm not a dog owner, but I'm pretty sure that's not a thing you do.
Who approved this? Someone spent a lot of money making this. Anime is not cheap to produce, guys.
It kind of also looks pretty good. Like, it's somewhat pretty for these more, like, ecchi shows. They usually look like shit. This one's okay. What's funny is, like, the what's it called? Uncensored version that you can download. It's, like, spliced together, so all the parts with no nudity, it's just, like, normal English subs. But then once there's, like, nudity, it goes like hard-coded German subs in the background.
What?
Because they just took the NSFW version with hard-coded German subs and like spliced together, so only the parts with bare nipples or whatever are the ones with weird hard-coded German subs. Which I guess means it's airing in Germany. I don't know.
The Germans getting some good stuff, I guess.
Yeah. Get all the good shit.
Good season to be German.
Yeah. I mean, it's short too. It's like 12 minutes per episode. So they haven't gotten very far, which I appreciate. I always love when a show doesn't overstay its welcome. I feel like Tomo could have been a 12-minute or two, but yeah. I mean, I don't really have unless you have any questions. I don't have a lot more to say about it.
You know what?
I don't wanna know
I
the
kind of
answer to any
do,
of my questions.
but yeah.
Unless you want to know about future events, I remember it all.
I have some questions, but I'm afraid to ask, and I'm better off not knowing the answers, I think.
Yeah, I think we might have learned all that we should know.
The gift says it all.
Yeah, ask Panic if you want to know more about Inukai.
Yes.
All right, well, the other one of Panic's favorite anime this season.
Yeah, whoa.
I don't know. You seem enthusiastic about it. Okay, so, but I am gonna call upon you on this again. Panic, what the fuck is an Onimai? Oh god, what the fuck is this?
Oh no.
Boss, have you ever wanted to be a small girl?
No, questionable. Hang on, I am fucking covering this. You motherfucker, you were going to get us banned.
Hey, it's airing on television. If it's good enough for TV.
Man, definitely it's good enough for YouTube. We totally won't get in trouble.
Right.
We totally won't get age
So,
restricted.
big, gross, neat guy. I guess we never actually see him. Suddenly one morning wakes up as a small little girl. And it's all about this character, like, getting to accept that they are now a girl, which they do very quickly.
Okay.
Yeah, just like going through girl stuff, like having a period, stuff like that.
Pretty rough.
Experiencing the line to the women's bathroom at the cinema, like the female experience. But deep down, like besides the obviously degen bullshit, it's also kind of a heartwarming, weirdly story about a girl who wants to get closer to her big brother. And like they have become, like they used to be close, now they're not. And she is kind of like trying to reform her big brother into like a productive member of society and someone who can talk to people. And it's strangely heartwarming when it's not being weird.
Yeah. I watched one episode of this. I was planning not to, but I was like, well, I guess for the podcast. It looks very, very good visually.
It's by the Mushoku Tensei studio, so it looks like $1 million.
That's
what
the
the
combination.
fuck is going on over there?
I don't know what the fuck. I don't know if that's necessarily the best track record to have Mushoku Tensei and then this show about.
And this, yeah, they're very much pigeonholing themselves.
But yeah, it looked very, very good.
They're not beating the accusations.
I'm trying to think of other nice things to say, but I guess I liked the thing you mentioned, where the little sister is trying to sort of reconnect with her brother by, I guess, turning him into a girl, which is
from what I've been told,
insane.
A lot of this weird like lolly bullshit with like just showing up close her little butt, stuff like that. That is all anime original. Like apparently the manga doesn't have as much of it.
But did they use the same excuse for Mushoku Tensei, or?
I don't know.
No,
I am not familiar with the source material.
I'm actually pretty sure they toned down the source material.
Yeah, I think they actually toned it down for Mushoku. But for this, they toned it up. So like they even out in the middle.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks incredible. Like the production is insanity.
It's insanely good. And yeah, like I said, I like the production, and I guess I liked at the end of the first episode, like the brother or little sister, I guess, He reflects on like how hers like this is a really difficult show to talk about. I guess I'll say how his sister is like really good at everything, and that kind of created a boundary between them because he was self-conscious because he was supposed to be the big brother, and he's like, well, now I'm the little sister, so now I don't need to be impressive, I guess, since I'm younger now. So
I was remembering a thing. It was Block on the Discord server who said that he knows a trans woman who read this and called it like trans wish fulfillment. It's because he gets to go through all the things.
I mean, isn't that kind of every? Couldn't you say that about every gender swap thing?
I guess, but this one is much more in detail. It's like the nitty gritty.
Right. They definitely focus on the body and bodily functions.
I tried looking up the creator. I suspect it's a woman because of how
I hope it is.
I would hope it is.
If not, someone needs to go to jail.
And that someone is Studio Bind.
Please stop them. Yeah, what were you saying?
No, just that. I guess this got that going for it. I feel like it's very on point with like. As not a girl, I can't speak to it, but it feels right. In all the little details they have.
I kind of want to watch it for that, but then I also see the stuff of the like.
It's also pretty funny.
Like
it has a lot of comedy.
It seems like the show is just very sexual about it. Maybe for sometimes for some good reasons, but also it feels indulgent.
Most of the time, it really isn't. But then it'll have shots like
there
the
are
one
those
I just
times.
showed you.
But then there are those times where it is.
Yes.
And that's what I really don't want to experience. So.
It definitely feels like a show where you're going to have to come to terms with the fact that you're watching it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you're not gonna feel happy about it per se.
Yeah.
Even if you like the show. Oh, I mean, I'm not being judgy about people who are watching it, but more for me and maybe others who aren't that easily watching this type of stuff.
For me, I've just seen so much of the push and pull in regards to this anime. So many people who are like, I don't know, terrible pedophiles because they watch it and like it. And also some people who are like close-minded dipshits because they don't watch it or don't like it or something like that. And I am so tired of this. I had to deal with this for The Last of Us Part 2. I had to deal with this with Mushoku Tensei. My MO from now on is to just fucking avoid these kinds of things. I don't care. You guys have fun. I have other things in my life to stress about.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Like again, I want to respect it because maybe it does say some nice things, and like I even saw some people on our anime discussions about how like, oh, it was their first time, learning about periods, which kind of questionable, but I guess it's nice that it's teaching somebody something. I respect it for that, but I kind of don't want to.
And I feel like it's pushing some like light taboos like that. People don't often discuss periods just out in the open.
Yeah, which is cool for this anime.
It does make sense that all the pervy stuff is anime original because it doesn't feel like it needs to be there for like the nature of the show. It doesn't feel like it's about perviness and sexuality in the same sense that something like Ero Manga Sensei is, but it still just feels pervy.
Yes.
Because of the directing, I guess.
Well, end of the day, it looks gorgeous, and I'm a slut for good animation. It has funny moments, and it has a heartwarming like through line. So the rest of it I'll just have to deal with because I am enjoying it. So I just have to like live with.
Yeah. I feel like watching it was like, okay, if you're willing to sit through some edgy and some perviness, then it's not a bad show. I don't think. It's just I'm not willing to sit through that.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
Seems Fair enough. I can't believe we never got a second season of Eromanga Sensei. That seemed like such a cash cow.
Didn't it sell like crazy?
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's for the better. Maybe it'll be one of those anime that
so
like.
did Konosuba season 2.
Yeah. Well, at least Konosuba is coming back.
After 20
Fucking
years.
finally. But anyway, seems fair enough about Onimai. But yeah, you all have fun with that.
Maybe I will.
Yeah. Do it. I fucking dare you.
Fuck you. I will.
All right. Next anime. I think this is exclusively a Minds watch. This is Tsunlise, a.k.a. What the fuck is the title of this?
Yeah,
one?
it's a whole
novel-length title.
Yeah.
Tsundere Akuyaku Reijo Lisa Lotte to Jikyoku no Endo Kun to Kaisetsu no Kobayashi-san. Or if you want the English title, Endo and Kobayashi Live, the latest on Tsundere Villainous Lise Lotte.
Yes.
Even the English title is fucking long.
So, Maz, have you ever wanted to be a Let's Player?
Sort of. Yeah, actually.
Well, here's a show for you then, because I guess it's like the newest entry into that whole new otome game isekai niche. But this one's not an isekai. I'll get to that in a minute.
Is it a reincarnation?
It's not, no. It is about two friends who they're a boy and a girl at school, and they bond over their love of video games. And one day they are playing an otome game together.
Oh my god,
and they're like commentating what's happening in the game. And one of the main characters, the main guy of the otome game, can hear them and thinks that it's like a divine message from the gods. And so he starts like talking to them, and they can like kind of control his actions in the game. So they're working with him to try and save the villainous Liselot from meeting her doom, because she's both of their favorite characters. And it's a pretty unique take on this little subgenre of isekai. I think it's pretty funny. They have a lot of like visual gags with a lot of like divine intervention jokes, and like the main guy is like obviously trying, like being won over by the main like heroine girl, and they're like, no wait, look how pretty Liselot is, she's so like tsundere, look at her, and the guy's like, you know what, she is pretty hot, and he's like, you should go like give her a kiss, and he like goes over and gives her a hug and like a little smooch, and she about dies on the spot because she's too tsundere to like admit her feelings for him. So it's a pretty fun little spin on that whole thing. So yeah.
Huh. That is a unique take. It's literally a Let's Play anime.
They're Let's playing the game and like controlling it. The art kind of leaves something to be desired. It's no Onimai, that's for sure. But
what is?
Yeah, honestly,
there is nothing like Onimai out there.
For what it is, it's pretty fun, like seasonal. It's a good like supporting show this season.
I think something that will help determine how good this really is in the long run is whether or not the story will be complete within one season. Because the light novel this is based off of is only 2 volumes. And it does have a manga that's still ongoing, but even that only has a couple dozen chapters so far. So if this ends up being a pretty short story that will actually tell a complete story in 12 episodes or so, then maybe it will be worth watching in the long run. Aside from
I would say
being just a seasonal.
Yeah, I'm enjoying this like more than I thought I would originally. So this one gets a recommendation for me. If you want something light that you can kind of just turn your brain off and watch 2 people fawn over how pretty a tsundere is, then this is your show.
All right. Well, there's another little interesting recommendation for this season. All right. I think you're also watching the next one, which
Uh.
is Revenger.
Yeah. So, so this show, I hate this show.
Where is this Revenger from?
Oh,
Tokyo?
You hate it. So, hey, all right.
So-
So, I want to talk about this a little bit because this was interesting. This is an original anime written by Gen Urobuchi. Now, Gen Urobuchi is like the most famous anime writer of all time. He in the early 2010s he did Madoka Magica, Fate Zero, and Psycho Pass. And this happened within like 18 months. Like three of the most banger anime of all time, even though Fate Zero was a light novel from earlier. But still, 18 months, this man built the most undefeated portfolio you'll ever witness. And ever since then, his career has been a mixture of really weird, niche, kind of one-off projects and just straight fucking around. Because, like, he was involved with Aldnoah Zero, at least early on. It's kind of assumed that he only did, like, the early writing for it. So, basically, what anime was I just fucking talking about? Aldnoah Zero is like the early Darling in the Franxx, where it's an A1 Pictures mecha anime, where the famous creator did the good parts, and then the bad parts were by A1 Pictures. So that was like that was like the last major thing he was really involved with. Aside from that, he's been involved with like CG anime, like Expelled from Paradise, although no one knows what that is anymore. And he did a Godzilla trilogy of films with Polygon Pictures. He also did some other anime like a year or two ago that was distributed via YouTube Red, like all shit that like no one ever even noticed because it was all like weird and obscure. And also, at some point, like just after Aldnoah Zero or so, he did this series called Chaos Dragon, which was a light novel then turned anime by him and, I shit you not, Nasu, the creator of the Type Moon series, and also the guy who wrote the Durarara series, and I think a couple other guys. They all got together and did a D&D campaign and then turned it into a light novel called Chaos Dragon. Like it's like, and no one liked it. This thing completely flopped. Like the most prolific writers of the 2010s and 2000s all got into the same room and wrote a fucking shit anime. It's like the most. It must have been a practical joke or something. So yeah, so Gen Urobuchi, as famous as he is, for as prolific as he is, hasn't really done much in the last like 10 years since he actually got famous. The one
Didn't he do Thunderbolt?
I was getting to that. The most major thing he
okay.
actually has done, and this is where, again, I say it's either a niche project or just straight fucking around, he went to Taiwan for some convention for whatever reason. And when he was there, he saw this booth that was like a live puppet stage show. And he was so enamored with it that he decided to make an entire script for it. Like he got with these guys and were like, we're making a full TV production with this. And yeah, it's called Thunderbolt Fantasy. And to this day, it's still going on. I think it literally just got announced that the 4th season has been greenlit with it. I don't know why I said with it. Sorry. But yeah, it's getting a 4th season. And yeah, it's a fucking puppet show. Like it's a dark, wordy, very serious and dramatic story, and like I guess would fit with an action anime or something like that. But it's a puppet show, and like if you please watch Thunderbolt Fantasy, at least watch the first episode. I promise you will be impressed by it because it is nothing like anything you've ever seen before. And yeah, that's basically what he's been doing this entire time. And the reason why I've been explaining all of this is because watching Revenger kind of made me think of why I don't really like Thunderbolt Fantasy as much as I respect it. I genuinely respect and appreciate the craft of Thunderbolt Fantasy, but I couldn't really get into it personally because it's just so wordy and serious, and that's what this anime is. This is a wordy, serious, dark, very violent and graphic samurai fantasy anime, which is exactly the same thing as Thunderbolt Fantasy, except Thunderbolt Fantasy is fucking rad because it's a puppet show, and this is a average anime, I guess.
What a story.
There's like a revenge plot in there somewhere too, I think. I don't know. I fell asleep in like the second episode.
You'd expect a revenge plot considering the title.
Yeah, I think
if it's setting itself up for anything, it would be a revenge story.
I think Revenger is just the name of like their group, isn't it?
You know, you say you would expect a revenge story, but I don't know. I don't think any revenge happens in Tokyo Revengers. It's all pretty vague.
Doesn't he try to like get rid of the Yakuza group that killed his girlfriend in Revengers? Tokyo Revengers?
I'm not the strongest soldier for Tokyo Revengers, so I can't tell you.
I am not either.
It's about. I thought it was just about a guy screaming and crying, and then a lot of people being really impressed by it somehow.
It effectively that's what it comes down to.
So I feel like this anime is another practical joke by Urobuchi, and this one is targeted at the people who argue about whether or not Thunderbolt Fantasy is anime. He's like, all right, you fucking nerds, I'll just make the same story, but it will be quote-unquote anime, like you really want it to be. And the result is just that it's just boring. Like, it's honestly just boring. I could not get into it at all. Does have some really graphic violence. Like, there are some fucking crazy deaths in the first episode. Like, this one guy got strangled by a kite string. The kite had like glass shards attached to it. Like, it was fucked up. So
yeah, that was a really brutal death.
So at least he hasn't lost his touch with writing horrific murders. But it doesn't compare to the first episode of Thunderbolt Fantasy, which Sinris explained in chat. In the first episode of Thunderbolt Fantasy, someone cuts his own head off by spinning his sword like a helicopter blade to launch it in the air, where it is caught by a magic bird. So yeah, even this anime doesn't do death as well as Thunderbolt Fantasy. Just watch that. If you don't like this anime, watch Thunderbolt Fantasy. If you do like this anime, watch Thunderbolt Fantasy.
Yeah, it's funny because like this one airs directly like the same day as Spy Classroom. Yeah, and I see them get like compared to a lot on discussion threads, and everyone is like dunking on Spy Classroom and just praising this. And I'm like, can we agree that they both kind of like suck and just call it a day?
Yeah, like I saw someone say like, "Oh, this is how you do a spy anime, not 7 girls taking a bath in the first 5 minutes." I'm like, you know what? Fuck you. I want to watch 7 girls taking a bath.
taking a bath in one episode was way more.
At least that will make me feel something.
Yeah, they kind of just talk and then someone dies like at the end of the episode. That's been the formula for the first 3 episodes, so I don't know how much longer I'll keep up with this one.
Yeah, I already gave it a hard drop.
I will give credit where credit is due though. The opening to this show fucking slaps. Go and don't watch the show, just go watch the opening.
Yeah, that's fair.
There you go.
We'll do that on our Discord server. Join our Discord server. We'll gang watch every OP this season. Next month.
Take Thunderbolt Fantasy and you replace the opening with this opening, and you watch that.
We should gang watch Thunderbolt Fantasy. That would actually be fucking rad. That would be a good gang watch, because that show is so wild.
Yeah.
Just go watch Thunderbolt Fantasy.
Yeah. All right, but beyond that, here's an anime that I really am truly enthusiastic about. We have to go back we have to remember our roots. We have to remember what's most important to us. What is this podcast all about? What has been our brand this entire time? It's none other than the 3 points that make up a triangle. And finally, the prophecy has been fulfilled. There's a new triangle anime airing this season, and it's called Ayakashi Triangle. And it's the best anime of all time.
Where? Really?
Yeah!
Even better than Spy Classroom?
Spy Classroom is also the best anime of all time. Yeah, so Ayakashi Triangle is a Shonen Jump manga by the guy who made the To Love Ru series. and it's about a guy who exercises Ayakashi, which are ghosts or spirits or what the fuck ever, monsters, doesn't matter. So yeah, that's like his normal job. And then he's got this friend who's got the fattest thighs you've ever seen. Very clearly inspired by Rika from SSSS Gridman, because she's even wearing like a jacket and a really, really short skirt. So he knew what was up. And she kind of meets this cat. You know, well, actually, first, these two have been childhood friends, and like both of them can see the Ayakashi around them. Like they exist. Most people can't interact with them, and that's been like a fun thing for them. But then this guy inherited his grandfather's legacy, which is to become an Ayakashi hunter, because you know some people have to keep these things in check so that people don't suffer from them or whatever. And that's kind of caused a rift between them, because this girl's always been super impressed with Ayakashi and she's enjoyed them, she's played with them and stuff like that, and that's cool. But he's like, no, all Ayakashi are bad. And the reason why he's so protective of this girl is because she's some kind of medium, where I guess it means she has like some crazy special powers that make her attractive to these Ayakashi. And so she meets this funny little cat who's, you know, just a funny cat. She enjoys petting him. This guy is like, no, that's bad. Ayakashi are bad. And she's like, no, you're just a big baka dummy. So she fucks off with this cat. But then he realizes that this is actually like the most evil and powerful Ayakashi known to man, and she's actually in danger. So he goes to fight. He goes to find them. He finds this cat as he's about to eat this girl to obtain her powers. This guy fights it. This guy, you know, he places a special powerful sealing scroll on him, so he'll at least, he can't defeat him, but it'll at least make him like go back to being a cat where he won't have much of his powers. And this cat is so angry and so upset at this guy and the prospect of these two having a romantic relationship with each other that he's like, you know what, fuck both of you guys, and turns the main character into a girl so that they won't have romantic feelings for each other, just for completely petty reasons.
Ooh, woo.
Yeah, and then that's what happens. It's a guy who turns into a girl with absolutely massive, bouncy, beautiful breastsies, and that makes the other girl flustered, and hilarity ensues. And that's the show.
Which one is the one with the thighs? Is that the other girl?
That's the other girl.
Interesting.
Yeah. That's about it. That's as far as I've gotten. I only watched the first episode. I also read the first few chapters of the manga because, of course, I was going to read this manga when it came out. It's called Ayakashi Triangle, and it's all right. I remember like getting kind of bored with it really quickly, but I did hear, it's the guy who made To Love Ru, so he turns it up a little bit sometime later. So maybe it'll be really spicy.
Did they do the bubbles?
Not that I know of yet, but of course that is going to be a thing that happens at some point.
Nice.
Those that know will know.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. Yeah, great anime, 10 out of 10. I love it. Oh, that's about it. Does anyone have any questions? I've done a great job of selling this anime, haven't I?
You haven't sold it as just so much as recap the entire part of it that's I heard so far. So I'm not sure if I even need to watch it anymore.
Yeah, there you go. Just watch just start at episode 2 now. You know what happens.
I think this is how I'm going to watch shows from now on. I'll have you watch it and then explain it to me in great detail.
I do really like the main villain of this series, the guy who was the cat, just because, it's one of those, it's a common shonen thing where there's the super big bad who, is so powerful that even a little small piece of his power is, like super important. I remember that's the plot of Inuyasha, that's the plot of Chainsaw Man, that's the plot of Jujutsu Kaisen, and that's the plot of Ayakashi Triangle. But what I love about it is that in all those other anime, they really make it seem like there's some big scary bad guy. And then the big scary bad guy in this show is like, I just fucking hate these people and I want to make their lives as inconvenient as possible because fuck them. And I respect that so much.
It's it's Yellow Flash. Just the most petty asshole in the world.
Oh yeah,
looking at these...
Block mentions that the censorship is bad. Unfortunately, there's no uncensored version on the internet, so maybe just wait for the Blu-rays.
I'm looking at these character designs of the three, I guess 2 main characters, but the 3 designs between them, and they all look very old. They all look like something from like first season of High School DxD or something like that.
I know I've seen screenshots of this, and I thought they were screenshots of Bofuri because the girl with the purple hair kind of looks like
she does look
Maple.
like Maple. Oh. She has that same hair and color, yeah.
So for a while, I didn't even know this show existed. Because whenever people were posting screenshots of it, I thought it was just Maple.
But yeah, it has a triangle in the name, so it's the anime of the season, anime of the year. All right, I guess we'll move on from that. This next anime is called Sugar Apple Fairy Tale, and I don't think I'm the only one who's seen this, right?
Purple Monkey Dishwasher.
Thanks, Panic. What do you think about it, Minus?
It's like a lot of other shows this season. It's fine.
Yeah.
It looks real. I really like the way that this show looks. It looks like a storybook come to life, basically. Like the colors, all the characters like look unique from each other, and the colors really pop. And it actually has some like pretty nice looking like backgrounds and stuff too, which is surprising considering it's JC staff. But I guess when no one's watching the show, they make good shows.
Yeah, that's the thing with them.
They make good anime when they want to.
Yeah, the popular anime they make fucking suck ass, but then the stuff no one's paying attention to, like this, yeah, that's where they hide the
quick while no one is watching.
Yeah, I guess what the plot of the show is like the main girl's mother died, so she took up her job as a sugar baker.
Yeah,
sugar apple baker.
They make sugar sculptures.
Yeah. And so she hires this fairy bodyguard to lead her to like the town where the festival is being held. And, you know, shoujo tropes ensue.
Yeah.
And that's the show.
Well, you say that, but there's actually some really fucked up stuff in this anime.
There is. So I don't know how.
So in this anime, fairies exist. You know, like a good old storybook. It's like a good old fantasy. There are fairies in this anime that have been enslaved by humans. And the way this like power dynamic works is that a human will obtain, like the fairy itself will only have one of its wings. The other wing will be held by the human, and they will feel like the physical pain from whatever is done to that wing. So like the girl goes into the town, and there's some guy who's like stomping on this fairy's wing because it, I don't know, did something that wasn't good, and it's like excruciating like pain and shit like that, which. Honestly, like, I laugh at a lot of gore anime because it's just over the top and ridiculous. The shit that, like, actually visualizes pain in different, unique ways, that's actually way more uncomfortable to me. So, this anime really does have some fucked up stuff in it. And I actually really like that about it. Because, like you said, it looks like a storybook. It looks really, really pretty overall. The main character is super adorable. And you know, she's making sugar sculptures. You know, that seems so nice. And there are fairies in this world. It seems so light and so fun. And on the surface, it kind of seems like a lighthearted shoujo fantasy rom-com adventure. But then you've got the stuff with the fairies and how they're slaves and how they're treated so terribly. So I really like how dark this anime can get, but I really want it to go further in that direction.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't feel like it's really as good as it could be. And I hope that maybe there will be, like, some really surprising plot twists in the future or some other really,
how
really
many
dark
episodes
stuff.
in are you?
I saw 2 episodes.
Okay, because the third episode that came out yesterday had that twist you're looking for.
Ooh, okay, awesome.
Yeah. So I won't spoil that, but it kind of I was like laying on my couch watching it, and then I kind of it's one of those things where I kind of just like sat up all of a sudden, and I was like, oh shit, okay, here we go.
All right.
This is what we need. But yeah, like you said, like the I kind of like the main girl. She doesn't like blackmail her fairy escort with like the wing in her hand, but she's like, I'll use it if I have to.
Yeah,
Like
well,
she's like really against
yeah, because her whole
having.
thing, like she doesn't really understand why things are the way they are in this world. Like she doesn't really understand why, how like fairies got this and why the relationship is so bad. So she buys a fairy slave, but she tries approaching it in this really really nice, kind-hearted way, where she's like, oh, I'm not going to treat it like a slave. I'm going to be its friend. But then the fairy she gets is like completely broken by the world and is like, no,
Yeah.
I fucking hate humans. I'm not putting up with your shit. You are lying to me. And I'm not going to do anything you say. If you need me to do something, if you want to give me an order, just torture me like all of
Yeah.
you humans do. So yeah,
Okay.
there's a really there's a
Yeah, it
really
is a little.
interesting relationship between the two.
So I'm just hoping that I'm just hoping it like hammers it home.
Yeah.
There's like the setup is there, but we're just kind of waiting on the
How big are the
execution.
fairies? Are they like Tinkerbell fairies?
Some of them are like little
Yeah.
pixie sized, but then so if you're watching the screen, the guy with the sword is a fairy. So he's this big, edgy, shoujo love
Yeah,
interest kind
he
of
just
guy.
looks like a big guy,
Yeah.
normal guy.
So there's a range, it seems. Actually, I think there are roles for different fairies because he's considered to be a warrior fairy, so he's specifically for fighting. But then I guess the smaller
Yeah.
fairies are for whatever other stuff.
Are there fairies like in Ishuzoku reviewers?
I assume so. If the fairies have classes
Yeah, probably.
and stuff.
Best
But
fairy
it's a
ever.
shoujo anime, so I'm assuming they're not going to go visit those fairies. God, they are there. Which
Deal
I'm glad.
breaker.
I'm glad we're getting like another modern shoujo show that's decent because they feel shoujo anime feel like a dying breed lately.
Little
But
bit.
I think the fruit after like the Fruits Basket reboot, there's been a few. So
Yeah.
I'll always take another new shoujo anime because they're like my guilty pleasures. But yeah, I would say this one's like it's fine, it's good, but not like great yet.
Yeah, like you said, that's kind of the theme of this season where this could be good, it just needs to be a little better. Hopefully
There's a
it'll.
lot of good, but nothing like super.
Yeah, like personally, there are lots of
Yeah.
shows that I kind of enjoy, but nothing that I'm super enthusiastic about.
Yeah. I'm hoping this one. I have it in good faith that this one will get better as it goes on, as we like uncover the mysteries of the world that we're in.
Yeah, hopefully this will live up to the hype and it'll be a dark horse. All right, and here's another dark horse this season because this wasn't even part of the chart at the beginning of the season, and I literally had to be told about its existence just to watch it. It's called High Card, which is a shonen anime where all of there's a whole set of 52 cards, and each of them gives the holder some kind of specific power, and they all interact with each other in kind of weird, unusual ways. But I'm personally a sucker for stuff like that. I like shonen anime with like really wide ranges of powers and just and it's kind of like JoJo where none of the powers are specifically like none of them are better than each other. It's just about how you use them. So in the first episode, there's this guy whose card is that it turns things that he touches into marble, and so like anything he comes into contact with literally just turns like into like marble surface, or he'll be able to make marbles and then he'll just fire them at people like bullets, and it's really interesting. But yeah, I don't know. There's some kind of mystery about how all the 52 cards exist or who's supposed to have them. There was like someone who had them in the beginning of the episode, but because of reasons, they all got scattered all over the place. So now it just seems like a bunch of random people have them. The main character is this guy who lives in an orphanage, or is, I don't know, closely tied to it, but it's going to be demolished by some guys who are going to build an apartment complex, unless they're able to, you know, come up with the rent to, you know, actually pay for the building or something like that. So the main character, he's like this, he's a pickpocket who tries to make a living off of doing that, even if it's not a very good one. He kind of understands it. But then he gets this card that makes him really, really lucky. That seems to be the power this card has, although not really. It's just he thinks it. The power is actually that it just turns into a gun or something like that, which is a little silly. Yeah, his power is just that he has a gun.
What else do you need?
Yeah. Yeah, who needs to shoot marbles at people when you can just shoot people with bullets that kill? But he's an alright character. He's kind of likable. The whole story has been likable and kind of fun so far. But yeah, that's about it. It was fun. Like that was the whole thing. It was a really, really fun series. I'm really interested in seeing all these different cards and how they interact and how other rules are going to be established. Like, what would happen if someone had multiple cards at the same time? Do they stack? Do they interact differently? Or things like that? I like shows with rules like that can be played around with and explored a lot.
This one I want to watch, but like Mal is dumb and didn't list it as this season, so I completely forgot that it existed. And then when everyone was talking about how good it was, I was like, I already have this like group of shows that I'm watching. I don't know if I can like fit it in there, but I'll make it work somehow. But I didn't realize that this was written by the guy that writes Kakegurui as well.
That's not surprising at all, honestly.
So I guess he has like one type of thing he writes, but
I should make something
really
gambling. Yes.
This seems like a show that I will enjoy a lot when I get around to it. So I'm excited to check it out.
Also, the other thing I'm interested in is that the world this anime takes place in, this whole anime is very America coded, where it seems like it takes place in America because it's very car centric, and then the main character just essentially goes to Vegas. And I say essentially because it's not literally Vegas, like it's not called Las Vegas. Everything has some other name to it, and at first it seems like the main character lives in New York, but you know, there's like people eating hot dogs. And again, like there's cars, there's guns, there's stuff like that. It seems very American. Like this would be on Toonami, produced by someone at Funimation. And that's just very interesting for an anime specifically. So I wonder if there's a reason for that, or if it's, I don't know, just some random bullshit. There's something else I wanted to find out. 1 second. Oh, another thing is that this is a mixed media project. I wanted to see if this was like a manga adaptation because I'd never heard of it. So I guess this is also going to be a gacha, which scares me because those are not very fun. Although
you're just saying that because you got fucked by one.
Yeah, literally. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. I did not know this. This is directed by the guy who directed Sakugan and Caligula and Suka Suka. This is actually one of my favorite directors. What the fuck? This is the anime of the season.
Oh no.
You clearly didn't notice.
Yeah, I had no idea.
I was gonna say what a list of mediocre shows, but then you said they were some of your favorites, so I was like, oh, oops.
Well, Caligula is not good, but Suka Suka is amazing.
It's been so long. I guess I like Sakugan, but yeah.
I need to finish Sakugan. Apparently it was disappointing, and that's sad.
Yeah, it was okay.
Although, I meant to say that it is funny that an anime that I guess is kind of about gambling would be a mixed media project, because gachas are just fucking gambling sinks.
That is pretty funny.
Yeah. But yeah, that's about it. Just a really solid anime overall. It's a fun shonen with cool and fun powers. Maybe it's not that deep or anything, but I don't know. Doesn't need to be. It's good enough for what it is. So yeah. And then the last of the non-sequels that we've got is an anime that I have literally never heard of until Whoops was asking to add it to the list. It's called Mou Ippon.
Yeah. Yeah, this is probably my favorite non-sequel, non-spin-off of the season. Because this season has a lot of fucking either like pervy, I don't know, self-insert stuff or isekai, but this is just a nice little sports show, and I like sports shows, even though I don't like sports. But yeah, it's essentially about these two girls that have done judo together in middle school, but they both initially choose not to do judo in high school because they want to do other stuff. I think one of them's focusing on studying, and the other one wants to get a boyfriend. And they sort of get pulled back into this world of judo because they meet one of their previous opponents on their last match in the school, who is really set out to rekindle this judo club. And they're sort of rediscovering their love for the sport, despite the fact that they set out to stop doing judo. So that's sort of the narrative setup. So what I like about it in that sense is that it sort of skips this whole awkward stage of trying to learn what the sport's about, and it's more about them getting back into it and having fun doing it again after setting out not to. And I think the protagonist is just great. You see her on screen right now. She's just an hilarious character. I struggle to put into words why, but I guess she's kind of like Ritsu from K-On!, where she's very, very excitable, kind of an idiot, but
Very Genki.
very Genki, but not like in an annoying way. She's pretty chill. She's like chill but Genki. She's super positive. She's super funny and expressive, but also pretty chill, which is, I think, a nice combination. But yeah, and the show looks nice. It's sort of the halfway point between a sports show and a cute girl slice of life, where it's definitely got this very warming, lighthearted and cathartic sense to it. It's pretty chill. It gives you the time to take in some of the atmosphere and just chill with the characters, but also has this real story about getting back into a sport and just winning matches and getting better at that stuff. It's only been 2 episodes, so there's not been that much detail, especially because a lot of the first episode and second episode really has been about setting up this character dynamic. But yeah, I just both as a sports show and as a slice of life, I think it has some really fun characters. It looks really nice, and it just hits the atmosphere for me.
That's cool.
I'd say it's like an above average slice of life show and an above average sports show combined into a very nice, just fun show.
I see why. I like that it's kind of about characters getting back into a hobby, and then the show is called Again.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah.
Yeah. So Ippon is like Ippon again. Yeah, it's like a judo term. And initially, she wanted to close off her judoing with an Ippon, which is like a way to win a match, but she didn't get it, and now she was like, okay, well, whatever, I didn't get it, so she kind of stopped caring in a way, or at least she outwardly stops caring, but she secretly still cares a little bit. And in the first episode, it's very much about her being like, oh no, I don't want to get back into it. I'm fine doing my other thing. But then as soon as she gets convinced to go back into it, she's immediately like, okay, let's fucking go. If we're doing this, we're doing this. And I just really like that tenacity where she's like, initially she wants to chill, but then when she gets sparked, she just bursts into energy, which is very fun.
Cool. I also like that the studio who's doing this is called, they're called Bakken Record, and they haven't really done anything yet except like this anime, but then they also have another anime coming out called Turkey, which seems to be about bullying. So I guess this is the studio who's just going to make niche sports anime.
That's pretty funny.
Specifically with female casts.
Yeah, which is nice because a lot of female cast sports anime, I feel like, are often just sort of relegated to being just another cute girls doing cute things show. This feels like it is very much focusing on the sports side. It is still very much like a school club anime, but also definitely having that competitive side to it, which is nice.
That's good.
Sort of thinking about stuff to compare it to, but I'm racking my mind and not really coming up with anything. I'm struggling to sell it, but I guess just trust me that it's like, for what it is, it's doing it well. So if you think the premise sounds somewhat interesting or at least worth checking out, then I think you won't be disappointed. It's hitting all the right notes for me.
All right. Fair enough. I do have like sports anime that I started a while ago that I like said I would finish someday, like Shokunetsu Kabaddi, and maybe I should just watch this instead of trying those again. Because
I would.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's gonna be upset to hear that I dropped Shokunetsu Kabaddi, or whatever that show was called. All right.
But yeah.
We like a good niche sports anime.
Yeah.
All right, that's it for the I guess regular shows and non-sequels or reboots. This isn't really a sequel either, I don't think, but it is, I guess, a new take on an old property. So this is a new anime of Trigun, aka Trigun Stampede. And at first I didn't watch this because I thought it was a second season, because I swear when this got announced, Orange said that they were continuing the adaptation from like the very old Trigun anime from like 2000 or so. And then some people were like, no, it's actually starting over. So I don't know. Maybe that means they're going to adapt the entire Trigun manga, which the original did not do all the way back when. So, but I don't know. But in any case, yeah, there's a new Trigun anime adapted by Studio Orange, who is the most famous CG anime studio right now. They did Beastars and Hoseki no Kuni. And yeah, now they're doing this thing.
Yeah, I think this is really excellent. At least visually, I think. I mean, Hoseki was a very impressive CG anime, which sort of helped dispel the connotation that CG anime is going to be, in all cases, worse than traditionally animated anime. And I feel like this is very much a continuation of dispelling that narrative that Studio Orange is slowly working towards, because it looks fucking amazing.
It looks incredible.
The character acting is sensational. Just the expressiveness, the way they move, the way their faces are animated. It's sort of the Disney style of overacting, but it gives so much life to these characters that you don't often get from 2D animation unless it's really, really good.
Can I say something? I wanted to. I'm really glad you said Disney, because when watching this, I did actually get like classic Disney vibes from some of the character animations. Like specifically, the girl. I forgot her name, but the girl. Like these goons pulled guns on her, and then she gets really scared, and then just like runs behind her her senpai or whatever, and just the way she just scampers behind him was like that's the kind of stuff you would get from old Disney, or other animations that everyone thinks of so fondly.
Yeah, and in addition to the character acting, the cinematography and the way the characters move and the camera, or I guess the frame moves around them, it's so dynamic, and it feels like something that is so much taking advantage of the benefits of doing CG, where you can really have a scene exist in the three-dimensional space as opposed to being pretty flat and from a single angle. So it's just super exciting, dynamic visually when it's these action sequences, and then outside of this, the character acting, the faces, the way the bodies move, it's just super lively.
Yeah, I'm tempted to pick this up because it does look incredible.
It's very nice, and I think it also needs that, since the show is very much, there is a lot of action, there is a lot of dynamic movement and a lot of cool stuff, but also the characters are they're not that gritty or dark. They're actually pretty goofy. They're super expressive. Vash is like, on the face, is like this cool action hero dude, because it's actually just kind of a a bumbling, silly guy,
Yeah.
so to speak. So that really makes that acting shine as well. In addition to the voice acting, just yeah, it feels like a perfect show to have this CG where the character acting and the action is both really important.
Yeah.
Um,
I will say the movement looks, like you're saying, it looks great. That's like one of my big critiques of something like Beastars, is that it looks great most of the time, but a lot of the characters like walking around looked janky as shit.
yeah.
But this looks like a lot more polished. Like they telegraph their movement, follow through on like everything they do.
Yeah,
It's like
honestly,
it has a bouncy feel to it.
yeah, I feel like Orange is just getting better and better. Like this is their best production so far.
Yeah. So yeah, production wise, it's incredible, and I do really like the characters as well. The main three. So there's Vash, the bumbling action guy I talked about before. But there's also this reporter duo with the girl and her senpai, like you mentioned. And again, they sort of have this slightly more serious side to them, but they're also still super expressive. They are used for comedy as well, and just have this real presence on screen. The acting in their face and their body, or I guess not acting, but the behavior or the way they express themselves. It's just so full of personality that they immediately pop off on screen and just feel so dynamic and real, which is excellent.
I think there might be some level of motion capture incorporated into
Right,
this product.
yeah,
So
of course.
you're probably not wrong to say acting.
Yeah, but so it just feels like a show that through its CG production is not only going to give so much life to these characters, but also make these action sequences so incredibly exciting.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
it's
story-wise, so far there hasn't been. It's mostly been establishing the setting and sort of the rough history about Vash and his twin brother. But one cool thing I like about the setting is how it has this Dune-esque sort of desert rough sci-fi thing, but it's running on like space technology from an older era that's slowly running out of power or getting damaged, and people are sort of scurrying around this world trying to gather up these sources of energy to preserve their way of life.
Looks very Borderlands in a way.
It is a bit. I guess yeah, Borderlands is probably inspired by Dune and sort of it's sort of that ballpark where it's like this this sort of very mechanical yet futuristic desert-like setting. And I like the setting and how it's sort of how it's running on this old technology, and everyone's very much trying to survive and preserve the energy sources and food that they have left. And I think that also positions Vash as a quite interesting position as a hero, because he seems to understand that everyone's just trying to survive. So he's very much like considerate of everyone's situation, even the villains, so to speak. And and I think that makes for a very likable character without making it feel too forced. He's not like a white knight, but he is just a genuinely good guy, and I think he's someone you want to root for as well, which is really nice.
What's interesting about him is that I've never seen the original Trigun, but I kind of have some kind of preconceived notion about it. Like I assumed the OG Trigun was like this big rule of cool anime, and Vash was like this really badass hero, because he does have a really, really iconic and very, very cool design.
Yeah.
But in this anime, he honestly comes off as pathetic a lot of the time. Like when he's in a showdown with the guy and he realizes his gun is out of bullets, and he's just literally crying out to people like, please, I need a bullet. Ah! But then you see him do something so insane and over the top towards the end of the episode, where it's like, okay, maybe it's just kind of bullshit. Maybe he's just bullshitting everybody with how like pathetic he's coming off, and maybe he's actually capable of doing these really crazy things that will make him a really cool, badass hero.
Yeah. And that's kind of the fun thing. He feels cool and badass, but because he has this sort of kind of clumsy side to him, and he's sort of most of the time stumbling, and then when he needs to show up and actually be cool, then he's just like, okay, let's fucking go.
Yeah.
That sort of makes him feel like he's not just like a rule of cool, stereotype badass character, but there's more to him. He has personality, which is really fun.
Yeah, and I did love the resolution to that duel, quote unquote. Because at first I was honestly getting annoyed with how just loud and just how sad he was when he was pleading for a bullet. I'm like, oh my god, this is ridiculous. But then he shoots a rock in the sky and then it just bounces off of like 50 missiles at the same time, and I'm like, okay, that's such bullshit, but it's so cool that I'm going to forgive everything that happened, and I'm just totally on board with it now.
It's very fun.
This anime is awesome. Yeah,
I'll have to give this one a look. I do love the new character, like the updated character design for Vash as well.
You like the emo Vash?
He looks like the emo, like, yeah, VTuber Vash.
I mean, I genuinely think, I don't know, it's giving me sort of like this could be the cyberpunk of this year, where it sort of starts off slow, but then more and more people start watching it, and it starts sort of rekindling this love for an older franchise.
Yeah,
I think it looks sensational. The characters really stand out, and I feel like it hits every note.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this show's awesome. Me and Mines were talking about earlier not having a lot of anime this season that we're like really passionate about, but this anime, yeah, I'm like sincerely into. I really want to watch more of it. Yeah, one of the best ones this season for sure.
For sure.
All right, this next one is a sequel that I haven't seen at all. It's the second season of Bofuri, aka I don't want to get hurt, so I maxed out my defense or something.
Yeah, it kind of pains me that this gets lumped in with like SAO and like all the other like video game isekai. I guess for good reason, but it's like I love Bofuri. It encapsulates that like joy of just like playing video games with your best friend, like perfectly. And like I think back when the first season came out, it got me back into like Guild Wars, just because like you can tell that whoever wrote this show has played like MMOs before. It's really like clever and smart, and whoever wrote it like knows their shit. And I think it's at the end of the day, it's just about Maple, a girl who's never really played an MMO, but her friend recommends that they play this like VR one together, and she's afraid of dying, so she puts all of her points into defense. So she just becomes literally like a game-breaking bug because they didn't account for anyone having a defense as high as hers. So she literally just like swallows up monsters and can use them and like wield them at her will to just decimate everyone. And then like they make a little guild and they just do MMO like raids and stuff, and it's just really comfy, wholesome fun.
I like the devs should just have put in some kind of level cap, but yeah.
Yeah, the devs are literally like that let her cook meme. Like they like know that she's broken, but she's kind of also like stress testing their game at the same time.
She's nice, so might as well. I will say, yeah. I didn't watch the first season. I tried it when it first came out because I saw some people were like actually excited about it, and I got like halfway in the first episode and I'm like, it's another fucking isekai MMO.
Same.
I'm not
I dropped the first season pretty early too.
So I honestly just gave up on it on the spot, and some people have shamed me for that. I'm sorry. I will say I skimmed through the first episode of this season to make a GIF for it, and I did not know that she would turn into a Gundam.
That's one of the skills she gets is
and also she turns into like a kaiju or something.
Yeah, she can only turn into that once a day, and my favorite part about that is that like the kaiju keeps her same like mannerisms, so it's this big scary looking monster but just like acts like the treasure that is Maple.
So that's
the funniest thing. Yeah, it's really funny.
So I guess
who did
what?
I wonder who did the overpowered defense character trope first. This or Shield Hero? Or did it come?
I'm pretty sure Shield Hero came first. Yeah. So
it's like, oh, you thought there was only defense? Turns out defense is the best offense.
Yeah, Shield Hero came out in like 12 or something. That novel's been around forever.
I mean, this whole mecha situation does not look like something you get by maxing out defense. So it does feel like the classic isekai show abandoning its own premise, but
no, that's just bugs,
skills.
aka features.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk 2077.
She gets some skills that make her a little OP.
Shield Hero also absorbs enemies and gets the powers.
But they're not. The Shield Hero is not a cute cinnamon roll.
That is up for debate.
The Shield Hero is not voiced by Kaede Hondo.
That's true.
So,
oh wait, she's voiced by Kaede Hondo? Wait.
Yeah, Maple.
Wait, I didn't know this was a good anime.
And Saori Hayami is one of her guildmates. So
I watched a couple of episodes of this.
Two of my favorites.
I watched a couple of episodes of this back when the first season aired, but I'm thinking like, was this like SAO rules where they're like in the video game, or is it like local Horizon?
Oh, they can log out at any time.
Oh.
It's literally just like
so
Maple and her best friend are playing a game together. They just like log on after school and play video games.
Right.
And it reminds me of like just coming home from school and like playing Halo with friends.
That's fun.
Back in the day. So it's wholesome and comfy fun, with some really good action scenes as well.
Yeah, I remember people being pretty excited about it back when the first season aired. Like there was definitely some buzz around it.
Yeah, maybe I will come back to it. Maybe I was a little too harsh about it back then. It is something I've thought about, so maybe I will.
Yeah, it always surprises me with how like competent it is when it comes to like MMO jargon and like quest lines and stuff.
Or you know what? I could also do a funny practical watch where I just watch the second season without watching the first one at all, and just like pretend that I know exactly what's going on.
There you go.
Maybe I could do that. I don't know. Do I really need to watch the first season? What happens in the
That's
first
the real
season?
gamer move.
I'll just look up the Wikipedia. The wiki for it.
Bofuri good.
Yeah, Bofuri good, I guess. All right. Another anime that is good question mark. It's Panic's favorite series of all time. Don't bully me, Nagatoro-san, or whatever.
What do you mean? I don't watch this shit.
Oh,
okay.
It's awkward.
Yeah,
I watch this shit.
Great. It's fun. It's everybody's favorite bully. She's back.
Yeah, I hate that I hate that Nagatoro is like good. Like I hate that I enjoy this show.
Oh, you're also watching it?
Yeah, sadly, but like also not sadly because it's good. Like Nagatoro is adorable. I was going into it like the first season. I expected her to be this like obnoxious, like bully. Which I mean, in the first episode she kind of is, but as the series goes on, she becomes like, and she actually like starts to fall for senpai.
At first, she is like extremely toxic and makes him cry, and is like actually a bully. And now they just hang out.
And he kind of likes it, I think.
So then, what the fuck is the so what? The show's not about him bullying him anymore.
Well, it's like playful teasing at this point.
Yeah, it's just.
It's called Don't Bully Me, Miles. You should have expected this.
Well, then if they reach that point, then the show should be over. They did it. They got the good ending.
Please stop bullying me. Well, because she's still like teasing him.
Yeah, she's still
quote unquote bullying him.
But
as a matter of fact, this season is called Second Attack. So what is her second attack? When is she going to attack him?
Making him put on her stockings.
Yeah, Senpai learned he's a thighs guy after the first episode.
Wow, so what a punishment.
Yeah, but like,
well, it's a lot of her attempts at bullying misfiring.
Yeah.
So she just got bad at it. Wow.
Well, it's because she keeps teasing him, but it'll always end up with her blushing too.
Yeah.
You know.
He kind of has gotten good at seeing through the teasing,
like
what she really means.
This shit again. Okay, I guess I'll put on your stocking, and he gets all the way out. He gets all the way in there, and she's like, "Wait, stop! I did not think this through."
So he's just masochistic at this point then.
Yeah, he likes it.
He goes along with it anyway.
So it should be called "Please Start Bullying Me Again," Nagatoro-san.
Yeah, that's gonna be the third season.
Third season is her like easing up and being genuine, and then he's like, "Wait a minute, this is not what I'm into."
And it's also about him like growing a spine a little bit. Like he has some moments of standing up for himself and her. So yeah,
What if he started slapping her like in Horimiya? That'd be
like he just walks into the room, just slaps her silly.
Yes. That's what
Like,
they do in
completely
Horimiya.
unprompted.
It's a great relationship dynamic.
Yeah.
That's the real BDSM relationship that I want to see.
And of course, this is another developing the relationship. Them getting closer.
Sorry, I have no idea why OBS disconnected for a second. I hope it doesn't keep doing that. I did not do that. That was unwilling. What were you guys saying?
That it's just like more of the same. I mean, it's a rom-com. What do you want?
Yeah.
they just develop their rapport and their relationship. Start realizing that the other one shares the feelings they have. Just no one wants to say it out loud.
So between this and Kubo-san, which one do we chill?
What is the better teasing show?
But this
Kubo-san, because it has Hanakana.
this one, because it's good enough to have a second season. I don't know. It has cum jokes.
It does have cum jokes.
What?
Something about her mishearing a word and thinking it means like come or impregnate. And then they go to the zoo and she's like, "What the fuck? I thought you were gonna come in me." Well, she doesn't say that, but she has like a visible moment of realizing, oh, that's not what's gonna happen today.
You know, based on how Panic talks about this series sometimes, I think that the point of this show is that you imagine what's happening to be way better than what's actually happening.
Oh, they have like an explanation thought bubble pop up over her head where she's like, wait, that's not what he meant.
That's gonna be season 4. Please stop making me come, Nagatoro-san.
I can't do it anymore, Nagatoro. I need a break.
Please stop.
Oh my god. Please stop making me come, Nagatoro.
I mean, you put a fucking Andrew Tate meme on this image.
Because they're drawing at the zoo. And I love that drawing of Andrew Tate.
This anime is something.
That's the biggest lie. The biggest lie of this anime is that they're at the zoo and the red pandas are running around. They never do shit. I've been to the zoo many times. The red pandas always just sleep at the highest place they can find.
If I wanted to go to the zoo, I'd just watch Nagatoro-san, because they're all animals. Hilarious joke. I will say, I did hate this series at first, because I watched like the first episode and I'm like, no. But now that I realize it's maybe not as weird, I don't know, I have a little bit of respect for it now.
I mean, the first episode's still pretty weird.
Yeah. It seems respectable, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in it, but good for you guys.
First episode is not indicative of the whole show.
Which is funny because that's where she makes the Nagatoro face. They got popular.
She makes that a lot.
Oh,
like less and less, I guess.
That's alright.
Pshaw.
Alright, anything else about this?
No.
Okay. Alright, let's move on to an interesting little sequel. I wouldn't have really expected this to get a sequel, but I guess it's cool that it's getting one. This is the second season of Tsurune.
I had not realized how much I missed this show until I saw it back again.
That's the general sentiment I'm getting from this, where, like, the first season of Tsurune came out, and even though it's Kyoto Animation, it didn't really take off all that much. Like, I didn't really see
It made
discussion.
no waves.
Yeah, like, I did not see many people really talk about it. Maybe because there aren't any girls in this anime, and that's, not cool.
But there are.
Well, I'm sure there are, but it's not about them. So,
I mean,
do they really exist?
probably genuinely that's a
They're
big
like
part
the
of it.
managers of the club, so not really.
um, so yeah, it just wasn't. It didn't have the same KyoAni hype that it normally does. But now that this second season has, now that it's out, some people are like, "Oh man, Tsurune's so good." Like I hear way more talk about it now than I ever have before.
I think like the first season peaked like really, like a really high point because it was all about him dealing with target panic, and then he
About
gets
you?
over it. About me, then he gets over it, and the final episode is like so hype. It feels like now that it's back, it's like yes, we can actually focus on them going to like competitions and not just him getting over his bullshit. Plus, we get to see the archer sensei with the blue hair, who is just like a fucking dreamboat.
Yeah, I was gonna say
He's something else.
the way he arches all over them.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, Tsurune. I'm not like the biggest fan of it. I wasn't the biggest fan of the first season, but like I appreciate what this season is doing a lot. Like I think this show really leans into Kyoto Animation's strengths of like character acting and attention to detail, especially because like during like the competition scenes where there's little to no dialogue, but you can still like see how the characters are feeling based on like where if they miss the target or not. It's
Like
just like so good.
It's the character acting, and it's the weird like animation flexes, like the way they'll
Yeah.
draw an eye from the side, and you're like, oh, and I guess I never thought about how an iris would look.
Yeah,
I
like
Went wrong at that angle.
I really like the lighting in this.
The lighting
this,
is
this
insane.
GIF
Like
that
it's
I've
just all
got.
yeah, it's really pretty.
It's chaotic.
Yeah, the way it's just
like-
reflecting off of everybody. That's cool.
Every
The
single
sound
shot.
design.
Yeah, every single shot that gets fired, even if it misses, it's gonna look like the prettiest miss you've ever seen.
And everybody's shots sound different. It's like
Mm.
the sound design in this show is just like on another level. It's
Yeah,
the same
everyone
thing
really-
in season one. It's insanity what they're able to do.
Even
I
with
watched-
the sound of them like holding the bows is really nice
Like
sounding.
the wood.
Yeah, the
flexing.
wood sounding, yeah.
I watched the first season of this. I think just shortly after it aired, so like early 2019. And I remember absolutely nothing about it. Like genuinely, I finished it. I gave it like a high 6 or something, and I think I forgot about it
Mhm.
completely. Forgot that it existed even.
I
Like you
really
said,
remember
like
the
many people.
specifics. I know there's a lot of like tension with him and Shu, like from his childhood friend, and him getting to like be comfortable picking up a bow again because he had like a big accident. He's got a huge scar on his stomach.
Yeah. Yeah, and like now that you mention it, like the bow or what is it, target fear? I don't know what.
Target panic.
Target panic, yeah, I remember that. But if you say like the first season is mostly just exploring that sort of way of him getting back to where he was
I feel
before,
like
and
that was
then
most of it. Yeah.
the second season is more about them competing, and I might actually be interested in picking it back up, and maybe I'll have the same
It's a lot
the
more.
same feeling.
First season also had a lot of like the group getting together in a way.
Yeah,
Like him patching up his friendship with the glasses guy
yeah,
and meeting the other people in the club. And now they're just like teammates, they're friends.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This
okay, that's cool.
season is so far has been a lot less drama and more just like focused on the sport, which I appreciate.
that sounds awesome. Because yeah, the first season, it's slowly getting back to me. There was like it was on the verge of being a good show, but there was just a bit. It was quite slow, and there was a bit too much drama in it. So if if the second season is different enough from that, then I think it might be worth checking out for me.
This is definitely like one of the highlight shows this season for me.
Oh, that's really cool to hear.
Yeah, I will definitely try watching the first season whenever I get a chance. It's just something that totally escaped me when it first came out. But now that this second season is out and I'm hearing it's really good, I will. I'll try catching up to it.
It really makes me want to try Kyudo. I want to try firing one of these big ass bows. It looks so fun.
It looks heavy.
It looks so heavy, like a longbow.
I doubt it's
Yeah.
it's probably not heavy, but it definitely looks like it's really difficult to
Straining.
Like, yeah, it seems unwieldy.
It's got that weird like thing where it's like it's longer on one end than the other, and you kind of lean it on your thigh. It looks cool.
hold. Honestly, I probably can't do it at all because my back and shoulders are totally fucked. So I probably can't even.
I kind of want to wear the hat. The hat looks cool. You can hide so much stuff under there, like.
An owl. He has a pet owl.
He does.
That's true.
Yeah. Like I'm trying to do the pose, like how you hold a bow, and yeah, my scapula just cannot hold that pose. I cannot do this anime at all. I cannot shoot a bow. I'm weak.
But it's fine because you're already in spy classroom anyway,
That's
so you
right.
don't need to be in
I
this.
can pick 7 locks really, really quickly, and I have 7
It's
big
really
kitty
an
goth
instinct.
CFs.
Maybe that's like a metaphor for something. Him picking the locks, 7 locks, 7 girls.
Oh,
Quick fingers.
wow. By the way, I've been meaning to respond to this comment in chat for like 5 minutes, but everyone was talking, and that's fine. Starmid said, lack of girls didn't stop Free from blowing up the way it did, which is true, but Free also had more clothes coming off than Tsurune does, I think.
And it had a shark tooth boy. Forget his name. Very hot.
Rin.
Rin. Yeah.
Okay, I haven't seen Free, but
And a scene of him cooking breakfast. Like, that's cinema.
I mean, just look at the ED of the guy doing the pelvic thrusts. Does Tsurune
Yes,
have
that is him. I believe that is Rin.
That's what Tsurune needs to blow up.
Shark tooth BF.
Yeah.
And
Doing
cop
pelvic
outfit.
thrusts.
that's a difference between Tsurune and Free. That like these guys are only half topless, and in Free they're fully topless. So that's the kind of the diff.
Mhm.
Cute boy diff.
All right. Well, this next one is just Panic. I literally have no idea what this is. In fact, the way he listed it in chat, I really thought it was a joke at first. But apparently, this is a real anime that exists. It's called Gods of Egypt, I think.
Well, no, that's what I call it because that is the name of a terrible movie from 2016. But it's actually called like Suddenly Egyptian Gods, and it's just a cute. It's the second season of a cute little short of these like little mascot versions of all the Egyptian gods, just like fucking around, like chilling under a kotatsu. In this one, they built like this most recent one was like building a big thing from a Japanese festival and being like, okay, we need 2 at the top, 3 in the second level, and 5 at the bottom. Who's gonna be on top? And then Set being like a piece of shit, being like, I should be on top, but then he gets to play the Empress, and then he gets to be on top, but he has to be the woman. Haha.
Oh.
Get it? No, it's just them being cute and fucking around. I love little shorts like this. Japanese shorts, or jorts, as I like to call them.
Nice.
Yeah. There's really nothing much else to say about it. It's like 3-minute episodes of this pantheon of goofballs.
All right. Cool. Well, thanks for sharing. I will definitely get on checking this out. Totally. All right. Next anime is a second season that I have been waiting for a while. So I have a question to ask the panel. Would you punch Kotoko for $1 trillion?
It's quite expensive, but I'd be willing to pay less.
No, you get $1 trillion for punching.
Oh, but then yes.
I think a lot of people for $1 trillion.
I thought it was like, it's frowned upon to punch women, but $1 trillion seems steep.
So here is the lowdown on Kyoko Suiri, aka In/Spectre, or just Inspector, Season 2. This is an anime that the first season I gave a 4 out of 10. And I have been extremely excited for this second season because
4 out of 10. So basically, it's the best show you've ever seen.
Absolutely. But the thing is, I loved the first couple episodes of the first season. Like, when it first started, I really thought this is going to be like a 9 out of 10, maybe even better than that. Like, it was that good. I loved the two main characters so much. They're so weird and have such a unique chemistry with each other. It's just fantastic. And what it's about is this girl named Kotoko was abducted by yokai when she was little, and they took her right eye and left leg, but in return, they made her the goddess of wisdom. So now she's like the mediator between two worlds, because in this world, there are spirits, which are like Ayakashi, yokai, demons, etc. And whenever there's a problem in that spirit world, they don't interact with the human world. At least they're not really supposed to. Like, they kind of can, but it's, supposed to be like a secret. Most people don't really know about this. So whenever there's an issue with the spirit world, they come to Kotoko, and she is the one who kind of solves the problem so that there isn't unwanted interference between worlds, because that would be a really big problem. So I love the mysteries in the early episodes, and she also has this guy who she just really, really likes. When she first meets him, he's dating this girl, and then eventually they break up, and she's like, "Oh no! Anyway, so you're single now. Okay, so we're dating now." No. She's like so hilariously forward with him, and he doesn't like really like her too much, and is just kind of like strung along in this relationship, though he does like her. Again, they just have a very, very weird and unique chemistry with each other. And anyway, this guy, the reason why he broke up with his girlfriend is because she became afraid of him, because he is from some weird, bizarre cultist family or something like that made him eat the flesh of a mermaid and another yokai of sorts. So now he has immortality and precognition powers. So the two of them are able to kind of deal with all these matters in the spirit world. And I thought it was just such a great series in the early episodes. I thought these characters are so good. I love the mysteries. I love the writing overall. And then 3 or 4 episodes in, it basically the anime goes into this one arc, and then it stays there permanently for the entire rest of the show. It is all in this one arc about this idol girl, this faceless yokai with the biggest tits you've ever seen, and is fucking around beating people up with a giant steel beam. And the way they have to deal with this is basically it's two people going on the paranormal board of 4chan and shitposting at each other to make the spirit rumors go away, because it's all based upon internet rumors and lore and stuff like that. So they have to like control the information about it, which is honestly interesting, but when it's 8 episodes of just straight dialogue and exposition, it gets really old really fast. So this anime got really, really boring down the stretch. However, I have been super excited for the second season because we have been assured by source readers that arc in the first season does not happen again. This anime, or rather the manga, rather specifically, that really long arc, was a standalone novel. And that's where this series really that's where it has its roots. It just started as a standalone novel, was then adapted into manga later on, and then the author built upon it, just kind of continuing on with much smaller arcs than that first long arc. So basically, this second season, we've been assured that it's not going to get into this super dialogue-heavy arc that's way too long like the first season. It's going to be much smaller arcs, and we already do know we're getting 3 separate arcs in this first season. So that's what I've been really looking forward to, because I think this series still has a really, really strong foundation. It just shouldn't get into really long-winded arcs like it did in the first season. And so the first episode of this second season was kind of a soft reset of sorts. Like, it kind of more or less recapped what happened in the first season. Like, it wasn't a literal recap episode, but it did kind of like say what happened in that first season, and then you get like a new mystery and some other stuff happens. But basically, this episode exists to be a jumping on point for anyone who didn't watch the first season. So as I will say, the official watch order for Inspector is going to be watch the first 4 episodes or so, and then keep going if you want. Whenever you get bored, stop watching it, and then just go into the second season. Because the second season, the first episode will give you the TLDR. It'll reintroduce all the characters and like what they do and what's going on and stuff like that. And then it'll get right into another arc right after. So the second episode is like the actual start of the season, where it's about this guy who was pushed off a mountain by his friend who was jealous of him because reasons. And then he was saved by a Yuki Onna, which is a snow woman yokai of sorts. And then they kind of She kind of starts living with him. They kind of, become friends and stuff like that. And it was like original, early first season Inspector all over again, with a really, really strong character writing and a really, really great dialogue. And then at the end of the episode, it presents this really cool mystery of how this guy's ex-wife was found murdered. Even though he really obviously didn't do it, it can't be proven because no one really knows about him except for this Yuki Onna, who's a yokai that no one is supposed to know about. So how are they going to solve this mystery? And it was really, really strong. So that's my shilling for Inspector Season 2. I really, really have a lot of confidence in this series. I think it really has some excellent characters, really, really strong presentation, some of the best character designs in any anime ever. And I am so stoked to basically see this series fulfill its potential that I think it had early on.
What the fuck? Are you gonna get me to watch Inspector?
Yes.
I always assumed it was a meme.
I mean, what you're saying. I watched 5 episodes of the first season, and I quite liked Kotoko, and
Yes.
I guess the dude was fine.
Yeah.
But the fucking Steel Beam idol story shit just didn't fucking interested me at all. I thought it was really dumb.
Yeah.
So yeah, knowing that has finally been closed off and that the series is doing sort of a reset actually makes me interested again.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like this. It's like the anime itself took the criticism of the first series to heart, where it's like, okay, guys, you don't have to watch the first season if you don't want to. Here's a new episode that will just recap it, basically. So, don't worry about finishing that too much. Just jump into this. It really does get a lot better, and I think, because the reason why that arc is so bad is because you just don't get that really strong character writing that you get in the early episodes. You don't get Kotoko's great wit and stuff like that. It gets really, really boring. But this episode, it's coming back in full force, and it seems like we're finally getting what this series really should be. So yeah.
Nice. Like the sound of that.
Yeah. Also, not necessarily my favorite OP of the season, but definitely my favorite OP song. It is so freaking good. I don't know where this anime is getting all these like weird bands that do just really bizarre, eccentric rock music, but I love them for that. So thank you, Inspector. Does anyone have any questions?
No, you made it pretty clear.
Okay.
Punch Kotoko for $1 trillion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, why did you ask that?
Because, okay, so I've just been saying that on Twitter over and over again, where I'll just like say, would you X Kotoko for $1 trillion? Because in the first season, there's a scene of her getting punched. So I posted that and then said, would you punch Kotoko for $1 trillion? Just to basically make fun of all these memes that were going around at the time that would be like a picture of a dog, and it would be like, would you step on this dog for $13 billion? Like, they're just so stupid. So I just started doing that for her, and I don't know why, but it's the funniest thing that I did. At least I think it is. Tate told me a week ago, he's like, I'm so excited for you to spam Kotoko memes again, and I'm like, thank you. Someone appreciates it.
Nice. So if nothing else, at least we'll get that out of season 2.
Yeah. I mean, just proof of how good it is. Like, Kotoko and Kuro weren't really in the second episode, but it was still really, really good because the Yuki Onna is so lovable, and the guy himself is like, he's not that interesting, but he's all right.
Yeah.
And I was telling Panic earlier that it's that this woman's voiced by Yuki Aoi, so you should watch it, Panic.
I will.
All right, another anime that I'm like weirdly excited and enthusiastic about is The Misfit of Demon King Academy, second season.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great show.
This is an anime that the first season came out, and it was like one of the only anime that actually was out in the summer of 2020. So everyone in the podcast, we just kind of forced ourselves to watch it. But it turned out to be surprisingly all right, I think. Even though it takes two of anime's worst, shittiest, overused tropes ever, where it's a reincarnated demon king who goes to school, and then all the girls in the school love him and want to ride his dick all night. It's that. And the guy's like super overpowered, he can just kind of do whatever he wants. But again, it's like weirdly surprisingly good, because I think the main character has such a fun personality, where
Right.
he's like really scary and strong and really can do whatever he wants, but he's actually like nice to people. Like, he's not trying to be a tyrant like, I don't know, Overlord or something. Like, he actually gives a shit about people. He's just trying to keep the peace, I guess. Like, there's lots of like lore and exposition and rules and shit like that we don't really need to get into, but I just love how comically overpowered this guy is, and the anime itself is trying to like throw other equally overpowered characters at him. Like in the first episode, he meets someone who had this guy under control. He had this guy hostage, and it was like he tried to kill this guy instantly, but then Anos, the main character, resurrected him. But then the other character was like, "No, I'll cast a curse on him." And then Anos was like, "No, I'll stop time around him." It's like everyone's just trying to out bullshit each other in this, and it was great.
Anytime you think he's actually in dire straits, no, he's not. he's letting the other guy think he's winning.
Yeah.
I should get back into this because I've watched the first half of the first season. It was fun.
Yeah, he has like this fun personality. He's very confident in his ability to just always come out on top. That makes him lovable in some weird way.
There's some like genuinely funny like things he does where he just like eats the castle and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
I need to catch up.
An entire
to
castle.
He threw the castle in the first season.
Yeah, I need to catch up because they had some like genuinely funny moments.
Mm-hmm.
He's got like an actual fan club of people who sing a song, like girls who sing songs for him.
Your favorite harem protagonist could never get the amount of respect that this guy does.
Also, doesn't he... We haven't seen them yet. He lives with his parents, right?
Yeah. Yeah, his parents who seem to birth him normally, but then he becomes like a fully grown person in 1 month. And they're just like, wow, our son is so great.
I think it was like in 3 days.
Yeah.
Just no time at all.
They're just so enthusiastic about him, but it's great.
They always have like some dish.
Yeah, they make like mushroom gratin.
Gratin?
Something like that.
I don't know how to say it.
Gratin.
Yeah, but I don't want to sound French. That's a bad look.
Anything but that. Oh no.
It's bad optics.
I'm European, so I can get away with it.
So am I.
Saying it without looking pretentious.
I'm also European. I just don't like the French.
Right.
As all Europeans shouldn't.
That's true.
Yeah, he has like really nice parents who love him, and he loves them.
Yep.
He's just like a really respectful guy.
Yeah, like he
overpowered as fuck.
he kind of commands respect, but also really appreciates the ones that do kind of follow him and like actually believe in him. Because the whole like conflict of this anime is that he used to be the demon king who ruled the world like 1,000 years ago or something, and now he's been reincarnated so much longer, so much later. But history had been completely rewritten, so it's like he isn't the Demon King anymore. So he's basically trying to fix all of that. He's like, no, actually, I'm the real Demon King. You've all been lied to, and so there are some people who don't believe in him, and there are some who do and respect him as the true Demon King, and he really appreciates those that do. He doesn't even really mind when people don't, because he appreciates the fact that the entire world is peaceful. He's like, yeah, I've already done the whole thing of like ruling the world with an iron fist. I don't care about that anymore. It's cool that people are happy now. But I like it. It's again, like weirdly good. I'm not like crazy about it. It's like a 7 out of 10, but I guess for the genre it's in, yeah, that's actually a really high praise.
And I believe the main guy had a change in voice actors. He is now also Goblin Slayer.
Wait, really?
Yep.
Yeah,
I did not know that.
First season's guy got canceled.
Oh no, was it? It wasn't Sakurai.
No, he the guy that cheated on Lisa.
Oh, that fucking guy, Lamau. What a dumbass. I also, oh man, I just looked him up. Yuichiro Umehara, is that him, or is it someone else?
That is.
Oh no, that's the new guy. Okay, never mind. Because I was gonna say, this guy was supposed to be the main character of Tokyo Babylon 2021, the anime that was the Tokyo Babylon adaptation that was going to be animated that Go Hands, which also got canceled. So it's like, this guy cannot be. This guy is just not safe. Anyway. Yeah, Misfit good. I understand why some people really hate it. Like, I have seen lots of people like give this a 1 out of 10 to be like,
I haven't seen anybody hate it.
I've seen that. Because
they're wrong.
Yeah, they are wrong. But I also get it. It's an obnoxious formula, but I think it does the formula a lot better.
I think it's like when a trope or a formula has been out for so long that all the postmodern shit comes in, and now they're just having fun with it. They're like taking all the tropes and like just taking them to their extreme.
Yeah. All right, but something that has not gotten old, although it is rather old, as an old manga that has only just been recently started getting anime adaptations, is the second season of Vinland Saga.
It's a big one.
It's pretty important.
It's a big boy. And I have not started it yet.
So yeah, Vinland Saga, it's the second season. And it takes place after a lengthy time skip, I think. It's not really clear how much later it is after the second season, but it does seem like a lot has happened. So basically, the TLDR of Vinland Saga is it's about this kid named Thorfinn, who is the son of this guy named Thors, who is this great, legendary, well-respected warrior. You know, he's like the most legendary warrior of all time, of everyone in Vinland, or wherever the hell they are.
Biggest of Chungus.
That's
in all.
Yeah, but then Thors was dishonorably killed by a man named Ashalad. So Thorfinn decides to dedicate his entire life to getting revenge. He actually joins Ashalad's crew in order to like just eventually become strong enough to kill Ashalad in an honorable battle, in an honorable duel. And that was all like all right, but really you realize the first season was much more about Ashalad, and that character was just so freaking amazing. That the first season's really great because of him, not really because of Thorfinn. He doesn't really do all that much in the first season, honestly. But the series kind of admits it. But anyway, that story has basically ended. Ashalad's story is now over, basically. So what becomes of Thorfinn isn't entirely clear until you get to this second season. Although not initially, because it starts off with this guy named Einar, who is living on a farm with his mother and his sister, and apparently they had been attacked by Vikings or whoever before, and the land, the whole land was destroyed, but he was able to rebuild it and now they're able to live peacefully again until warriors come and destroy the land and kill them all over again. So yeah, his mother and his sister are both killed, and he is sold into slavery, and then he's bought by I forgot the guy's name, but he's bought by someone who happens to own a farm, which seems all nice and fun, I guess, for slave work. And who else is working on that farm? None other than Thorfinn. So I think that's a really, really interesting start to this series, where it seems like a decent amount of time has passed, and this guy who, is the son of a legendary warrior is now living the life of a slave. It's like, what happened to get him into this position? And also, how is he going to get out of it? That's what I really want to see. I want him to become something greater than what he is right now.
Yeah, I think that's sort of the interesting thing with Thorfinn's point where he is now, where in the first season, he is pretty much just driven by the idea of killing Eshelad and getting his revenge, which he doesn't exactly achieve. So he sort of feels like he, at this point in the season, you're asking like, what is he gonna do next? And it turns out what he's gonna do next is nothing. He's just gonna be a slave and work on this farm, and doesn't really have any goals or needs at this point. He looks very much like he has given up on life in a way. Like he doesn't really have much that drives him anymore, and he's just sort of he's lost his energy a bit. So he's a shell of his former self, which I think is quite an interesting jumping off point and an interesting contrast.
Yeah.
However, I do, for these first 2 episodes, I really miss Eshelad, and I think it's more apparent than ever how instrumental he was to how good season 1 was.
Yeah.
So the show definitely feels like it needs to find something to replace that character. And I'm not sure NieR is that. He feels like kind of just a dude.
No, definitely not. The thing with Eshelad is he just had a lot of personality to him.
Yeah.
And so far, what's happened in season 2, like, the story has been interesting, but the characters aren't really. Like, NieR, like, what has happened to him is interesting, but he himself is not an interesting character.
Yeah.
And that's really the same with Thorfinn as well. Like, what's happened is really interesting, but, like, I don't really know much about him other than that he screamed a lot in the first season. It was just really edgy.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, they sort of beat the Thorfinn wasn't the most interesting character in season 1, but what was there was kind of beaten out of him by the circumstances. So he doesn't have much going on right now, and yeah, like I said, NieR is just a dude who kind of is sort of the point of view character that they sort of use to create a new perspective on Thorfinn's new situation. So yeah, I'm not sure if this season is going to be about Thorfinn, if it's going to be about NieR, or if there's going to be another Acelot type character to take attention.
Yeah.
But right now it feels sort of like I'm not sure where it's going with this.
Yeah, it's been slow so far, but I'm going to keep my fingers crossed that it's going to get better, because this is what many source readers, what many longtime fans of this series consider to be the best arc of this manga.
Yeah, which is a huge thing, because season 1 was already really good.
Yeah.
So if this is the best arc in a series that is consistently good, it seems, then I'm really curious to see how it evolves to be that, because right now it's very unassuming.
But honestly, I wasn't super impressed with the first season initially either. It wasn't really until like the second half that I was getting really into it.
Yeah, same. But
the big fucker, what was his name? Thor something?
Thorkel.
Another Thor. Did he die in the first season?
I think so.
I don't remember.
I don't entirely remember either.
I'm hoping he's back. If he didn't die, I hope he comes back.
Yeah.
There is one interesting thing about the setup is that there is still a tangential link to the first season, in that the dude with the pencil mustache, I think his name is Floki. Leaf, yeah.
Yeah, he was there.
He's like shown briefly in the first episode looking for Thorfinn. And
Yeah.
Einar encounters him at like a slave market, and he's around there like asking like, is there a blonde guy named Thorfinn around here? I'm looking for him. I want to buy him and set him free. So Einar knows that there's someone out there looking for Thorfinn, which I think is an interesting narrative beat that has just sort of been dropped, but not really. Nothing has been done with it, but I'm interested to see how that starts playing out and whether life gets brought back into it a bit.
The other link to the first season is that Chanute has been mentioned.
Yeah, I was about to say Canute.
Canute's still in it.
Yeah, so
Very
what happens to him is a huge spoiler that I won't say, but it will be interesting to see what he is doing.
Oh,
in this.
Historical figure. You can just go on Wikipedia and.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I've watched Vinland Saga. Well, I've read the Wikipedia about the Viking.
Don't read his Wikipedia because it's spoilers, I guess.
Don't take a history class. You're spoiling yourself on Vinland Saga and the entire Fate series.
And that time King Arthur wrote his demon horse and was a woman.
I guess another thing to mention is that there was a studio change, not really necessarily a staff change. I don't think. I think most of the people who worked on the first season are still on this, but it did change from Studio Wit to Mappa, just like Attack on Titan.
Of course, Mappa's got quite an arsenal now. Like, holy shit!
I don't know. I guess if you want, Mappa's trying to gather the Infinity Stones. They're adapting every popular franchise under the sun now.
That's kind of insane. Between like Chainsaw Man, Vinland Saga, Attack on Titan, and Jujutsu Kaisen.
Attack on Titan, final season, part 3, part 1.
They're going to be swimming in money.
I mean, I saw some statistic or something that there are likely to be more seasons of Attack on Titan called the final season
than
actual season.
Yeah, it's gone on that long.
There's gonna be like 8 seasons and 5 of them are called the final season or some shit like that.
They really did not think that through.
It's very funny.
But anyway,
I wanted to do the final season in one go. Yeah, sure, just call the final season. Yeah, no problem.
One thing
fuck.
There's people like, how far into Attack on Titan are you? Well, I just started the final season, so I should be done soon. It's like, nope, you're barely halfway through.
5 years later. Almost there.
But I wanted to mention that because I think the first season generally looks the same as the first, for better or for worse. That's kind of been a big point of controversy, honestly. But I absolutely adore the OP and ED of this season. This is my favorite OP of the season.
I do not remember them.
OP, I remember I like the OP a lot. The ending, I don't remember very
much. I tend to pay a lot of attention to them, so if I don't remember it, it's probably because it didn't make much of an impression. But I'll keep an eye out when I watch episode 3.
They're really cool.
The opening visuals are fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was a little surprised that the season kind of got off to it kind of felt pretty low key for Vinland Saga, but at the end of the second season, you can kind of see the seeds of hate being planted. So I hope it will get more engaging.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not much to talk about right now, but
yeah,
considering the hype around the arc and the fact that it's a series that has already done a lot of great stuff, season 1, I'm still excited. I just hope it picks up some energy in episode 3, and it's not going to be even more just slow establishing introductory moments.
Yeah. But yeah, that's Vinland Saga, and I guess that's the end of our list. That's all the stuff that we are watching this season. Is there anything that we should mention that we are not talking about?
Yes.
What?
Danmachi season 4, baby.
All right.
It's back.
Yeah, there's a new season of Danmachi. Great.
Ooh. As always.
This is actually the second fourth season.
Yeah, split core. Right. But yeah, it's back with more Best Girl Ryu, trouble in the deep dungeon. Everything's going to shit. I'm having fun with it.
That's good.
Yep.
Happy for you.
Thanks.
I guess the other things I'm watching this season are the leftovers from fall 2022, or some of them. So Yurusei Yatsura, it's around, it's fine. I
Ever
don't
seen the
love it,
original
but it's okay.
Urusei Yatsura?
I have not.
Oh, okay.
But it feels like the new series is kind of trying to get every single character introduced as quickly as possible, which means every single episode is a character of the week episode so far, which is not great. But I hope it sort of settles after that.
Interesting.
The OP is amazing. It's probably my favorite OP of last year. But yeah, that's the only thing I'm still watching this season.
Are you watching Blue Lock?
I'm not. I checked out one episode of that last season.
Damn. I think
Blue Lock's
Lock
actually
is
picking up a
amazing.
lot. Yeah, it's picked up a lot for me. Like especially with once the first arc is finished. The second arc has been fantastic.
Yeah, like honestly, Blue Lock is the show where like every week I'm like, I need the next episode right now,
Yeah.
bro. It's been
It's
an
this
adrenaline rush.
And then I guess Eminence and Shadow.
Do you like that one?
I'm like back and forth on it. I think it's like once again it's really fucking dumb and it has some like funny moments, but overall it's kind of a slog.
Yeah.
I don't think I would recommend it to anyone.
I would recommend it if you've never seen Konosuba. Which
Yeah,
you should watch
that-
Konosuba. It just does everything this show does, but better.
Like,
First of all,
I
watch
can think of every
Konosuba.
show. I can think of other shows that do Eminence and Shadow better than Eminence and Shadow.
I honestly like genuinely hate Eminence of Shadow. Like I'm developing a huge hate boner for this show. I need to catch up to it, but I'm so sick of the guys like, oh, I'm a background character. Watch me just repeat all of anime's worst tropes over and over again, but it's funny because I'm self-aware about it. Great job, everyone. Great show. Yeah, a 7.9 for some reason. Like there are lots of people.
I don't
like,
get.
out
I
there
don't. I
who are
don't
like,
get that.
Wow, this show's so smart. Ha.
Maybe
Meta humor.
people
It
tend
also-
to go crazy for fantasy shows that have like some sort of meta element, because we get thrown to death with so many fantasy shows that I think being meta just excites people. I don't know.
Yeah.
I
The
haven't
last few
seen Eminence.
episodes have also looked like garbage, like utter garbage. So
That's good to know.
yeah, I'm glad it's like almost over. I don't know why it needed to be 20 episodes, but
Why was that the 2 core anime?
I don't know. Like it doesn't really need. It's kind of like it's very stale at this point. But I've sunk 16 episodes. I might as well just finish it off. I'll probably slap like a mediocre score on this.
Oh, did we say 20 episodes? We meant 200.
Just like that. Just
now
like,
you're in for it.
Just like Black Clover IRL. I will
Just
shout
like
out.
Black Clover.
I'll shout out Bungo Stray Dogs season 4. I will probably catch up to this someday. I haven't seen the 3rd season still, even though it came out like 4 years ago. This anime is very consistently mid for me, for better or for worse, but it's a bones shonen with amazing character designs, so maybe I'll like it more when I revisit it. Yeah, cool that has another season. Anything else that we didn't mention that some people would probably get mad at us for? Oh, someone recommended me to watch Tensei Ojo.
Oh, I did watch an episode of this, and it was okay.
I know there's a subset of people out there that can really get excited about D4DJ, which is getting a second season this winter season.
What?
So
the
I guess
hell
I
is
guess
that?
I guess I'll
Hold on.
just mention it for those
Okay.
fans out there that are in my shared Discord servers that get absolutely excited for D4DJ. So hey, it exists, and I acknowledge that it exists.
What is this?
It's
Is this like a Bang Dream?
Yeah, this looks like a
show?
gotcha.
I know very. I think it's just like a slice of life show about them being DJ idols. I don't know.
Nice.
I have never heard of this.
I hate that the first season is called D4DJ First Mix, and the second season is called D4DJ All Mix. What the fuck, guys? You had the perfect naming scheme right there, and you fucked it up instantly.
You know what? That's boring. All mix.
They just wanted to dispel any expectations that there was going to be
Season
a
3's
third
gotta be
season.
trail mix.
I will also mention that I watched the first episode of what the fuck? Where even is it? There's so many shows this season. We need to stop making this many anime. Okay. Reborn the Master of the Blade from Hero King to Extraordinary Squire. Watch the first episode of this. I watched the first episode of this. It was not very good, but I will keep watching it because the character designs are okay. And
Reborn to Master of the Blade.
And also, Giant Beasts of Ours, watch the first episode of this. If you love anime that have, like, 30 MacGuffins and characters with lots of really specific roles in society, and the world has
I do.
specific rules and all things like that, except none of them are ever explained to you, then watch this anime. It's great. I dropped it. And that's about it, I think. All right, so I guess that's it. We talked about everything this season. We did it.
We 100%ed anime.
Yeah. So that's all the stuff we watched. All the stuff we feel the need to talk about. Anything we didn't talk about still, or anything you want to talk about, let us know in the comments and all that. Like, subscribe, and comment, all that good stuff. Check out our Discord server where we're still doing stuff. Even if we're not doing podcasts, which, we definitely should do more of. But we're in the Discord server, at least. That's where you can find us. You can yell at us to make more podcasts. We will listen to you there.
We will ban you.
Yeah. And you guys, Minus and Whoops, thanks a lot for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's good to be back. I had fun.
I'm glad you had fun. So yeah. This is supposed to be a smoother outro, but my brain is fried right now, so I think I'm just going to end the stream.
We have been talking for over 3 hours.
Yeah. I was not built to do this. I'm really antisocial. But anyway, thanks for listening and or watching, and we'll see you later. We'll definitely do another podcast in the next 3 months.
At least one.
At least one of them. Bye.
Bye.
Check out the Our Anime Awards, too.
Yeah, go vote.
Right.
You can still vote until somewhere in February, so quite a bit. I looked it up.
All right. That's it.